Go to college, they say. You'll get a great education, they say. You'll learn how to hunt better, they'll say. They didn't tell you that you'd be spending, what, 20 years of your life paying off a 100K fucking debt? It was only 40K, but holy shit. Hey there, everyone, and welcome to Dice Scum Live. The name's Adam.
I'm Tech
I'm
Priest.
and I'm Impcit, and let's go back to school.
I think
Please no.
that's a pretty good comedy movie. I don't think that's a good idea for a book, though. I think
I
I have
can
Rodney
understand
Dangerfield in it.
why.
I
I
will
mean,
I will
here,
say that yeah. So I guess to say we are reviewing the latest book from Hunter the Reckoning, Alma Maters, which decided to set it in academia, hunting in academia.
Yeah, we're 1 degree removed from the coffee shop barista adventure of any World of Darkness scenario. Only I'd
now
say it actually would
that's
work better in the World of Darkness. Like,
now here's the thing. The idea of academics and college students being involved in weird shit with the supernatural has been a trope for a long time. You've got the Lovecraft mythos with like the expeditions, the Mountains of Madness. You've got Miskatonic University doing things. Like there's a lot of fodder for good stories and good writing.
I mean, legitimately, if you wanted to make in Hunter the Vigil, there's several compacts and conspiracies that rely on that, like the Thule Society.
Oh
Like
wait,
the
wait,
Thule
you thought
Society is
this
very
was
academically based.
The
you thought
Loyalists
this
of Thule,
you
they
thought
were
this
the Thule Society.
this was about being college students. It technically is and isn't. It's merely to utilize academia and the college setting for a hunter game.
And I mean, you can do stuff like that. You got the Buffy style of play. Like
You
there's
can.
ways to use schools in a game, but this book is not very good at it.
I would say the best way to describe it is they have about 35 to 40 pages for a good booklet, but the problem is, and let me actually show the book today. Yeah, we have 186 pages, so
We got to stretch it out. We got to meet the quota.
we have to meet the quota, and my fucking god, is this going to make this book more banal, more boring, and also, since you can see the cover, more ugly than Princess the Hopeful, at least the version we read. By the way, hey there, everyone. I noticed Primark came in a bit early. Hey there, Silver Grizzly. Hey there, Not Nito. And hey there, Metatron Vaughn.
And
And also,
Squirrel
hey there,
Killer and
Squirrel Killer
Jimmy.
and Jimmy. So, yeah, I
Yeah, no,
already don't like the cover.
the cover doesn't really smack me as a hunter.
They're
The
kind of
cover,
going for a Watch Dogs vibe, I think, and that doesn't work.
no, it can work. It's just that not for this book.
Not for this college book. Yeah, that's my problem.
Yeah, like if you were talking about like, vigilante groups in a city or that are using technology or like a Second Inquisition stuff or whatever, like yeah, go for the watchdog style imagery. Go for that.
Yeah, like
Not
if this was like dealing with how do you use online and how do you turn online against the monsters you're hunting, good image. Or if this was a case of just taking place in a city, like this is an adventure splat, like, hey, we're in Burlington, Vermont. Burlington by night. Sure, that would work. But no.
You know what I think it would be good cover? You have the guy in, was it the graduate cap and gown? He just
put him
bludgeoned
in the
through to death with
graduate
his
cap, yeah.
diploma.
Like put him in like actual college student or like a college graduation photo or something like that, where it's like all the faces have like their eyes xed out or
Oh no
whatever.
no,
Like
that'd be great. You see a variety of graduation photos, and you see the crazy conspiracy board where it's like what
yeah,
happened to X, and then like you see one where it's like terminated due to infestation, and then another one going
Ooh.
possible vector.
like
That
yeah, you could do that and that would work really well as like a cover. But I guess that they paid money for this woman to pose for pictures for them.
they paid $5
And
to find her on Fiverr, and then they ran it through a couple Photoshop filters. it's a testament that I think the AI slop that I generated for the cover for this stream, I think would fit a little bit better than what the fuck we have here.
Now, that said, they then do a much better job with the intro bit here, with actually showing what the kind of picture you'd need for the cover to be.
Sure, let's actually go deeper in. I don't like the formatting of the book, by the way, just straight up. There's something about the font and choices in construction that make this too clean for me.
Like, if this is meant to be like the interior cover, like then they have art that should have been the cover book, like this black and white piece. It's
Oh.
really good.
Oh yeah.
Also, legitimately, the computer image here kind of plays into the watchdog thing, so that's another failure because you go into that. And here you go. Should have been the fucking cover.
This is a really good cover. Like, if you see this book and you see like the I cannot stress enough, this art is good.
This
You
is the
could have
cover
it.
art.
It's an old library. It looks like there's like somebody going through the stacks. It's got the classic academic jacket. You're playing on that. There's
Yep.
the eyes in the background. The books are teeth. You know, like you can do a lot of like
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
fun stuff with that, and they didn't.
Exactly, but they didn't. Like, this should have been the cover. This should have been the cover. Holy shit. How do you fuck this
Like, if
up?
you had an alternate version, like if you had an alternate cover version, and if this was the cover, I would be much more likely to pick it up in a bookstore. It does have a very Call of Cthulhu vibe to it. I will say that might be one of the reasons why I didn't pick it, because they want to have their own unique, distinct style. But like,
And
even if you add the weird orange wash to it, it would still look really good.
Oh, I have a fun idea actually. Since if you don't want it to be too traditional academic, lecture choir, and you see it's like a night class lecture choir, and if you pay really close attention, you see that the instructor does not have a reflection in the TV in the back, hinting that they are a La
oh,
Sombra.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff so you can find it. So in
but
any
also
case,
that's also funny as a vampire educator.
Yeah, which they
Like,
play around with a little bit. We'll get into that, but the introduction.
yeah.
Universities, colleges, and research institutions are repositories of mysteries, secrets, and hidden history. The Agricultural Farm College of Topeka, Kansas, established in 1904. That's
and
filled
has a
with
cult of
mysteries.
shoved Niggeroth, the dark goat of the woods with 1,000 young.
Now
How do you
that
think we make our potatoes grow so good down here in Kansas?
would
Well, wheat, but you know what I mean.
legitimately that'd be an amazing Call of Cthulhu. Like you're in Hayseed County in the Midwest.
And it's like, yep, good corn this year. Better go find the dark goat of 1,000 young and sacrifice all of the non-believers. Yeah, nub shib Niggeroth.
Like the college has only been around for like 20 years. They briefly
And it's
flirted with
already been
having
in, like it's already like been infiltrated by a cult. Like yeah, you can do a lot of fun with
no,
like
no,
college
and you have
settings for
and one
horror
of the
games.
NPCs in this small
Oh,
town.
yeah.
No. One of the NPCs in that small town, by the way, is the crank chiropractor who plays around with subluxations to fix your vital energies.
Yeah,
Who's
you
in
kind of get
prison?
like the idea though. Like
Our farmland is
again,
rich
in
in soil,
concept,
rich in the
not a
blood of
bad
virgins.
not a bad concept if you're doing like a horror game, setting it into college. This game does not do that well, and we'll get into that.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
we are.
Uh,
Like
I would like
they
to.
also try to build up colleges too much. I think as these receptacles of mysteries. Because think about it, but
Eh,
no, think about it in the sense of you go to your local community college that was signed into existence by the state governor from like 40 years ago, and whose most interesting secret is you found out that the dean was like railing a hooker while married. That's the great mystery of your community college specializing in I don't fucking know basic STEM fields.
I mean, there is something about academia. You have
Yeah,
vast
yeah, for
repositories of
things like
knowledge.
Yale, the Ivy Leagues, the ones that have been around long enough. And that's what,
Like no,
and
even
let's be
smaller
fair,
universities can
Even
have like even smaller universities can have extensive archives, man. Like
they
the one of the
can,
and there's
colleges I went to
they
yeah.
had like
can, but
had a huge amount of.
that's if you go outside of the U.S. because that's one of the problems. The
No,
U.S.'s
no, in the
school
U.S.
systems
as
aren't.
well.
I'm sorry, it's
No,
just when I
like in
think
the
of this, I think of like community colleges that are like minor. Yeah, they have a fuckload of info, but like they're talking about mysteries and secrets too, which is my problem.
Well, you can think of it like your local Midwestern college.
yeah, like
They'll
your
have
local
they'll have
Midwestern
knowledge about the
college.
local area.
Yeah, like your local Midwestern college that is in a town that's about a couple hours out. You started as an agricultural college, then turned into a teacher's college for women or whatever the fuck else, then transitioned to a general thing as time went on. Probably founded around the time of the Civil War or just after. Probably has a weird name after some Civil War general. Probably has a bust of said Civil War general somewhere on there, but then changed names to I don't know Wichita State University or
No,
whatever the
they
fuck.
changed it to the name of a governor in 1965 who gave them
Money.
$50,000.
$50,000, then it switched back to like Wichita State or whatever the fuck else
Yeah.
because like it changed names because it's changed what it does over the years a bazillion
No,
times
I mean there's like
because
an interesting history for all of it, but the way it opens the framing is the problem is
yeah.
unless this is certain types of schools that have had long histories or a decent amount of horrible things around its past. Usually, I just kind of go with what's the lamest idea you can come up with. Oh yeah, it was
Well,
founded in
yeah,
the
this is
1980s as a branch campus of an actual like older school.
yeah, and even then that can still be useful for a hunter group as like an academic resource. Like there could be
It,
your weird professor over there that knows way too much about certain
You're
things and now
focusing
oh
on the
no, the
wrong
well,
thing.
monsters.
You've been focusing like you've been ignoring my point that the way they're trying to build up the colleges fails when you factor in that these settings traditionally are not the same types that you'd see. This isn't a Miskatonic U. This is bumblefuck community college that was founded less than 50 years ago because the town itself was like 200 guys until recently. That's kind of my point. Like it's the buildup.
I see.
Like the opening arc is crap, not the point of of having them go to college. I play Call of Cthulhu. I do that quite a bit. One of the first things you always do is you go to the repository, man. I know this. That's not my point. That was not my point.
Well, the thing is, they do bring up some interesting different universities, such as one that ran a public drug trial, another one that is a tech campus,
Oh, there's some
another one
pretty
that's in
disgusting
yeah,
histories in some of them too, yeah.
one that's in Manila, one that's an art institute in Old England, an academic society that uses myth-making and misdirection for its vampire masters, and another one that eats mummies.
So they just stole that entire conspiracy from Vigil.
Yes, they did, because that is something that you will
Yeah.
note in this book is they steal heavily from Hunter the Vigil. Mainly because
Because
despite
this is Hunter the Vigil.
well, Hunter 5th edition kind of tries to reincorporate Hunter's Hunted. At least that's the excuse, but in reality it's just cribbing mostly from Vigil. Mainly because Hunter the Reckoning did like dog shit compared to Vigil. Not everyone wanted to
Which
play
is
a
part of the
soldier of
reason
some
why
divine
they
power.
torpedoed it because they're blaming that for their bad sales and not your game's garbage. No one's gonna get it.
Like the whole point is you want to play me and the boys going to fight Dracula after having a barbecue. Like they don't want to be some weird soldier of God all the time.
Though before we begin, we do need to get into the content warnings.
Yep.
Because, as usual, you can expect graphic death, physical and emotional violence, stalking, and supernatural entities, but there's also discussions of abuse of power and systemic
Oh
corruption,
God.
addiction, bereavement
Yeah.
and grief, cannibalism, capitalism and worker exploitation, cults, dream and nightmare sequences, drug and alcohol abuse, hallucinations and unreality, mental illness, mind control, oppression and bigotry, and possession.
Okay, so remember when they had the "this is a work of fiction" and things in here may be disturbing. You like read at your own discretion because that's what a lot of old White Wolf books had like at the front.
They did. They also usually gave you a pretty risque cover and they expected local game stores to, wrap the shit in fucking plastic with that
That
warning.
was more the Black Dog books,
Yeah.
like the
Still,
namely the Shamase.
But also, why do you have a content warning about dream sequences?
I don't fucking know. Maybe
I
for
got
people who can't sleep. I
but
don't. I
by
don't
the way,
know.
I like how in order the eating of flesh, a basic economic system, and then the occult. Those are all equally disturbing.
I mean, not to,
Being a
don't get me
wage
wrong.
slave
Like
at a
once you get into the
McDonald's
weeds of
is as
economics,
awful as consuming the flesh of man.
honestly, I would rather eat a human being than be a wage slave at McDonald's. I would genuinely rather. Like fucking bring me to the cannibal cult. I will eat a man before I have to sit in front of some fucking idiot demanding a cheeseburger for like 48 hours
Oh
a
no, no,
week. Like fuck
the
that.
idiots who don't get their orders aren't the problem. It's the ones where you get the where you get the uppity middle-aged whiner who's like, "You got
Oh
everything wrong,"
God.
even though you actually know you didn't because you were the one to fucking package it, and
I
they're
said
trying
no
to scam it.
pickles. Why are there pickles in this?
And they
I'm
show the
demanding from the
pickles, and
manager.
no, they show the pickles, and it's very obviously they got some pickles at home and put them on because they're the wrong size.
Yeah.
But
But
let's
I
go to orientation.
no, no,
And
no,
we
it's
start
just, come on. You compare this
yeah.
to mind control and then basic human labor in an economic system. That's
Worker
such a joke.
exploitation. I mean,
Worker
look,
exploitation, fair, but the capitalism part, they had to throw that in. The company that is a literal capitalistic expression. Just keep that in mind. Keep in mind, whenever they say screw capitalism, that means they ask for their own destruction. So let's get to
oh hey,
orientation.
look, airbrushed photo.
Well, we have
Quality.
orientation up, and we start with a quote from
Quality.
Michel Foucault. Schools serve the same social function as prisons and mental institutions to define, classify, control, and regulate people.
Well, basically, the state doesn't
Fuck
give
Which,
off,
enough of a
yeah,
occult.
shit.
but you know what it
You're
also
right,
is
but
supposed
you're
to do?
right for the wrong reasons. Fuck
It
off.
also teaches people basic skills.
Yes, they
Well,
do.
so do prisons. I mean, they teach you the basic skills of how to shank someone and get away with it.
Well, no, they also
How to
have
treat.
work programs. A lot of prisons actually do have work programs that teach
I
you,
I
like,
know,
vocationals.
I know. I'm just making a point that like you're trying to claim that like prisons don't also teach people things like not organized, but they do. It teaches you how to be a better criminal. People get to share together and go like, "Oh, this is what got us caught. What got you caught? Let's not do that again."
I think Dark Sun's brain is broken as he says, Adam, does this book exist?
Does this book
We
exist?
does this book. That's why this exists. We does this
We
book.
does this book exists because the people who write splats like this are the same type that try to write coffee shop adventure hooks in Dungeons and Dragons. And yes, they have done that a couple of times.
Look,
And the
that
thing
can
is,
be
yeah,
funny if it's a larger campaign and everyone's down for it. Like you have to run the tavern, basically. Like that can be an
You think
interesting
that's
campaign
funny,
if you do
but
it.
if you ever talk to any barista or bartender, they will look at you
They
with
will
the
fucking
saddest eyes in the world and say, "Don't ever join this profession."
listen, I
well,
want to.
yeah, but you know what I
I'd be
mean.
fine
Like
with
the
being a barista, but then midway through, I have to fight a dragon,
yeah, that's kind
just
of what I'm getting
complaining
at.
that I
Like
didn't put enough cream in the coffee.
yeah, like that's kind of what I'm getting at. Like if you're making it over the top silly, that's when it's fun,
Oh, we got a
not
flaming take here.
serious.
People who write content warnings like this are too afraid to offend to write worthwhile horror. Exactly. There's a reason why they didn't do any serious adventures with any of this. We'll get to that.
Yeah. So
Now,
with an
I'll be frank with that. Sometimes there's points where you have to be like, even as like a horror, you have to sit down and go like, okay, you random person who's trying to play this as a game, yeah, you might want to, if you're not into children cult murder shit, please step away from the book for a while.
Yeah, but you
But that's like an
usually write
exception.
those warnings as a disclaimer at the very front.
Yeah.
so they do bring up the sort of what you can do with an academic institution. I mean, you can use it to find research. You have access to rare texts, original research, specialized knowledge, and I'll say this from somebody who's been in a graduate school. Yeah, it does have a lot of knowledge that you can use, and not just that, but if you have a right program, you can get stuff online, you can get stuff from other schools. there's a lot of resources that you can find.
You can request books from other universities. Yeah,
Also, you can sit
there's a lot
down
of things
for
you can do.
lectures. You just won't get accreditation for taking the course. By the way, this is very
Uh,
common,
Yeah.
especially in European institutions. You can actually sit down and go through entire classes with
mm,
lecture.
Yep.
So the issue
Problem
is,
is that oh, you were about to explain it.
yeah, well, I was going to say there's other issues with these institutions in that they have their own problems. The cutthroat nature of academia is insane. It's probably worse than vampires.
It was
Vampire
particularly
Society.
oh, no, it was particularly bad before the ability to detect plagiarism, for example. In fact, actually, that's one of the examples of this. If you've ever seen the film Reanimator, that's an actual major plot point: is that Herbert West's work was stolen, and his
Speaking of
mentor's
which,
work was stolen.
speaking of which, there's another Lovecraft reference for you. He was originally a character created by H.P. Lovecraft,
He was, and he considered the Reanimator series the worst slop he ever wrote.
which is funny because it created one of the best horror movies of all time.
It's because he had to
But
do it to pay the bills, and he basically had to shit it out. And he was told, "Yeah, don't go all esoteric and crap. Just make it like a zombie kills people shit, Irvy. You got to do it."
and and then here's the other issue. If you want to find that research, you kind of have to be a student
You
or a
have to be a
professor.
student, a teacher, or someone who can pretend to be a student or teacher at another university.
Oh yeah,
Not
if you're
easy to
wondering,
do.
no, if you're wondering why, basically it's because there are further repositories that you can only access if you're part of the profession itself. There are basically databases that colleges can allow you to access if you have that. Lawyers, for example, have have their own part of the internet dedicated to that sort of stuff. They have their own repositories that they can access with their credentials.
And not just having that, but also navigating that, how they do their search terms. That's that's something
Also,
even by itself.
technical expertise, because they will use jargon and terms that you actually need to know in order to find things quickly. Like, for
Yeah,
example, if you want to know, okay, what are the chances someone's going to commit crime again, you're gonna need to know the term recidivism.
And not only that, if you look for, because there's probably hundreds of stuff written about it, you know, are you going to be focusing on the stuff that was done early? Because that's probably got some inaccurate data, bad sampling. Um, you have no idea the politics that involved in the study itself,
And depending on the
if it's
field,
even statistically significant.
also depending on the field, you can literally just be like, oh wow, I'm looking at pro-eugenics garbage. This is a big problem in archaeology, for example. If you look at
yeah.
anything prior to 1960, there's a heavy tinge of that still, because archaeology kind of low-key was, okay, let's dig these up and figure out why we're superior to the
Let's figure out
natives.
why. Yeah, yeah. Um, what they do
Or in
talk
the
about, I do
case
think this
of
is actually a good point.
or in the case of India, hey, let's see if we could find the the home of the Aryan race.
Yeah, thank you, Hitler. Very cool. Um,
But anyway, my problem with this entire section, it's really nice to know, and it's informative to people who haven't actually gone through college yet. The problem is, this would be considered a small stage aspect of a Call of Cthulhu game.
right.
This is
Like, I do
pointless.
think that this is useful information. I
Yeah,
think it also is like
they bring up a lot of other stuff like faith institutions because yeah, they'll have their own
faith-based institutions. They make up like, okay, yeah, like
they do bring up
Jesuit
trade.
universities, other stuff.
They, they,
Also, they do
Churches
mention
might
the
have.
madrasas of the Muslim world.
yeah, they, they
Yep.
they they bring up trade schools as the place where you would actually build the weapons you're going to kill the werewolf.
Yep.
Yeah.
Online learning, um, as well, which obviously that's a big thing.
It's just you're trying to make this book for Hunter the Reckoning version 5.
Like
Right. If this was a Hunter the Vigil book, I would be much less.
No, I'd still be a bit scornful, just because, okay,
like
and
they're giving a lot of sort of plot hooks of, if you're a hunters, you hear of a postgraduate researcher that has a paper about a cryptid. You're, you know, trying to learn of a sort of a seems like a special ammunition that's being built by a lab. A lot of
Yeah.
hooks, and not a lot of what I would want to see, which is balancing college life with hunting.
Good luck. Good luck if you're anything in like a high intensity field.
Yeah, that's not
Like if you are a
happening.
med student, good fucking luck.
If you're don't forget by the way, if you're in education, also good fucking luck, especially if you start student teaching. Good job.
Good. You are about to
Have
be
fun.
the most tired person on the planet and probably running with your blood alcohol, not blood alcohol, your blood caffeine levels will be through the roof because you will be downing, you will have like an IV of the fucking white zero monster like
You're gonna have to ask
strapped
your
into
med
you.
school friend to give you some go pills, aka methamphetamine.
They do
Yeah.
they do bring up though something important, languages, because
Yes.
a lot of research may be useful, but it's in a language you don't know, or it's in a language that's dead.
Yes and
Gotta learn your
no.
Latin.
Yes and no. It really does depend. In my experience, because of the knowledge on this sort of stuff, they usually do a pretty good job in translating critical ones, but you're gonna always want to try to find the original source in particular. So you
Or
might need
or
to
Yeah,
a
and
mis
then
pick
of
up.
or
course if
or I would say this: try reading English written in the 16th century.
It's
oh,
doable.
It it's
it's
doable,
doable. It's not
but it's
fun.
not standardized. Remember, they wrote the S's like they're F's.
Oh, by the way, no, you think that's terrible? Okay, I raise you one harder. Let's say you're trying to learn about basic chemistry to put down like a vampire or a werewolf. Good luck on your 19th century papers. Here's why. A lot of the best chemistry papers were written in German, in particular in the type of script that does the same shit but worse. Not kidding. Chemistry was a very German field for about a century, so good luck, pal.
Yeah.
Yeah, like some of this is not
It has
bad. It's just
some
it's
value. It's just you could easily cut this down by about half.
Like they then later on give like if you're doing research with different skills, like if you're using I guess applied sciences, crafts could be jury rig lab equipment, streetwise to procure obscure ingredients, uh, academics for recalling and applying historical beliefs.
Your academic knowledge might actually be useful if you find that mono is expanding throughout the entire campus.
Yeah, actually they
yeah.
give they bring that up as an example.
Yep.
They
I'm currently
again,
on secrets
there's
because we're kind of jumping around because holy shit, fuck this book.
Yeah, I
yeah, they do have actually good
and they do
ideas here.
yeah they do bring up like news reading newspapers or microfiche, which universities
Yeah,
do have.
they
Um,
I the university library that I went to, I did a little bit of stuff with microfiche. It's very
yeah.
neat.
Yep.
um, I personally went over like old European maps of the world. Very fun,
Because
but again,
again, they're a
you got to
source
be
of
secure.
knowledge. There's a reason why in Call of Cthulhu, one of the first places you usually go to is the local town college if you can get your hands on that stuff.
I do
I
like
have no
this.
issue in using it for documentation, and I have no
Yeah,
issue of them explaining it. The problem is this is 18 pages, and I think you could do this in 9.
they do bring up using probates and wills.
That's another thing you can do because
So
colleges
That's
you
do.
could
clever, actually.
Colleges, especially
I
medical ones, usually do have access to things like death certificates. By the way,
no, I got it.
Yeah,
You're a bunch of law students and you stumbled across a property that you know has vampires in it, and so you are trying to find a way to have it be possessed by the state and bulldozed.
no.
yeah, like you're trying to
What could
eminent
be
domain
really
it so
fun?
that
You accidentally stumble upon evidence that the main backer of one of the town's aldermen actually has been dead for 30 years, and that's someone wearing his face because you
right.
found his
Like
death
again, there's
certificate.
The other thing they have is sort of a test you can do: speed reading,
I kind of like that. I
wits plus
kind of
academics, and
I have no idea where
um,
you guys are because you've been jumping around back
I
and
oh
forth.
I'm on page 29.
Oh, you're like
29, yeah.
10 pages way beyond me. Holy shit.
Yeah, as I said, there's a lot of there's this opening chapter is not bad.
It's not bad, but
I
I
would give it
think
a
you
lot more
can
slack if
cut it
this
down.
was
Yeah, they
yeah.
give various assets.
Actually, if they
They give
made this a
yeah.
short, I don't know, like 150-page book, and they gave you how do you learn how to hunt, this would be
I do like
fine.
I do like the merits. They
Yeah, I think that they did a good
two
job of
dots.
actually showing, like,
Yeah,
how could something that you've got on your character sheet apply in a college setting,
Yeah.
like the arsenal bit, which is like, yeah, you have access to museum weaponry, for example, or you have, yeah,
Also,
this is like a crime lab,
they
so
give you
you've got access to all
examples.
that
By the
stuff.
way, they give you examples on how you can use other skills, which is nice. This section here, applications of skills, I really like their choices on how they do this, because it
I like
allows you to actually use skills that you wouldn't otherwise think of.
I like the merits and flaws thesis. Your chosen area of academic expertise has consumed your life for years, and you've examined it from every angle humanly possible. Choose an additional specialty related to your subject. However, the specialty isn't tied to a specific skill and applies to any skill when used in a research test.
It
Or
needs to be academic and not related to monster
yeah,
types. So this is more like a, I don't know, your underwater basket weaving
yeah.
gives you an insight into the nest construction of, I don't know, a giant spider monster.
Yep.
I do like the flaw though, failing grades.
Failing grades.
Whether you're distracted by money issues or monster issues, misunderstood, or just not cut out for rigorous academic study, you're just about managed to cling on. Reduce social dice pools by 2 when dealing with all campus staff.
Oof, that's actually a really nasty penalty.
That's a nasty
Um,
penalty. The problem kind of is they're starting to set up that they're going to do some college adventures, but they never pull the trigger on it.
El Mala Educación.
LL Mala education. While you hold the confidence in full education, you consistently make simple mistakes, which is actually really good for like dead tongues merit. So you can be that
That's
one
a
guy
good
that's
one.
really convinced that his translation is perfect. Like again, there's stuff in here I'm like, oh, that's fun.
Disordered sleep. Which yeah, if you're going to be a student, yeah, you're probably going to have some bad sleep
Not only
schedules.
a student, but a
Um,
hunter.
Oh no, this is my favorite. Interfering roommate.
Yeah.
yes, yes. This is your excuse to play. Port that shit over to like your vampire game. That's your stew. That's your guy from What We Do in the Shadows that just sort of pops up and is like, like, hey, how's it going?
I'm just now envisioning like you're learning. Oh my goodness! There's an experimental blood disease trying to give people, I don't know, werewolf rabies or something. And then Ned comes in. He's like, "Hey, what you doing?" He's holding a brewski.
Yeah,
Oh, you're learning about
Uh,
blood serum testing, huh? Why are you doing that?
and he's like,
Why
look,
are you
you're
doing
you're
that?
you're
Aren't you like
weird.
yeah, no,
You're
why are
weird.
you doing that? Aren't you
Why is
like
there 3 dead bodies in body bags in the room here? And you're just like it's, oh god, it's like the
study.
fucking thing
No,
from
no, no,
iCarly.
he's
Like,
about to open up
what
the
you
mini
got there?
fridge. He's about to open up the mini fridge where you stored the where you stored the
The head.
Store the
Wolfkin
fucking
corpse.
heads.
The Wolfkin corpse.
It's for the frat. I'm
For
trying
the
to join
frat.
a
What you
frat.
got there? What you got there is you're holding like this weird eldritch bird thing. A smoothie.
That's an ugly ass pigeon. Think
But
it's
yeah,
So
sick. Shouldn't you be handling it with gloves? Where's your face mask, man?
anyway, the first college they cover is Burlington.
So, okay, let's be kind. The first 35 pages aren't too bad. In fact,
If
actually,
you
the
took the
back half
first
of it's good.
the
if you took the
concept.
first 35 pages and you put it into a bigger, like, how to expand your career options book, like a player's guide,
Oh yeah,
I
like
would
the
be,
Hunter's Vocational Guide to Exterminating Monsters. Where
yeah,
it's
like where you're talking about how do you implement your like group of hunters
all your
from like different
skills too.
backgrounds and what they might be able to, yeah,
And like you expand
like,
skills, like how are some other ways you can use it? Like I really like their example of larceny, where if you combine it with computer skills, you can just wipe data.
yeah, like it's a that'd be a great concept. That'd
And
be a
it
book
allows
I
you to
think that a
use
lot of people
skills
would
that you
like.
wouldn't otherwise think for certain events. Like for nutritionism, you could use Streetwise to get illicit chemicals to make medicine.
And I mean, you don't. And then the main problem with this book is you got 35 pages of actual good mechanics, and it's front loaded. Like,
So you
I
know
will
what
say
we always
this,
say, it's all downhill from here.
and then it got worse.
So Burlington College is supposed to be a medium-sized public university that did psychoactive drug trials in the 1960s, and it made
Which
it a
they
stomping
actually
ground
did.
for fair
Which
folk.
they actually did. I know vaguely what they're talking about. So Burlington, it's a major college in Vermont, always has been for a long time, and they did experiments with LSD and other hallucinogens. In fact, actually, one of the founding members of that study later on basically fried his brain on the stuff and tried to form a religion to get around the drug laws about it.
Yes.
Like, no, no, like
It's
this is all real. That is all
yeah,
real.
the history of Burlington is legitimate.
It's just they're
So,
not going to do anything with it, and it's going to suck.
yeah, so it attracted a fair folk, and most of those involved died in a fire. And now a corporation is trying to get a hold of the records of the drug trial to recreate it in an energy drink recipe.
That's a good possible hook. I actually don't hate the hook here. This potentially could be a good adventure.
So they describe the history of the college. It was originally built in the 40s,
It was.
um, then just built up, became a mainstay in the 60s, had the Wagner
Had
Hall
some stuff. Oh yeah,
experiments.
then MK Ultra came in.
Yep,
Yeah,
yep. It was not the
the U.S.
main college, but it was one of several that worked on the MK Ultra mind control experiments.
Yeah, one of my personal favorite ones with this is that they do then go into the black helicopter stuff about it.
Yeah. So they did that, simulating subjects' hippocampus near the temporal lobe, and dozen subjects spoke of a tall man in a wide-brimmed hat with a skeletal face appearing in the edges of their vision around reflective surfaces. The peripheral man um, would sometimes intrude their dreams and change them in unexpected ways. Subjects would wake up in strange places, losing time, experience sleepwalking, and night terrors. Then a fire broke out on December 10th, 1967. All 42 subjects, scientists, and administrators were in the building when it started to burn. There are 8 survivors,
I think
but
I
they claim to
vaguely.
remember nothing.
I think this is based on because I think Burlington College did experience a fire at that time, but it wasn't as bad as what's
Yeah.
they're talking about here. Like there was a fire in one of their research halls.
Oh, so this is honestly, this feels more like classic World of Darkness,
Yeah, that's
where
the
they are
thing.
taking an
Like they're
actual
building
historical
up
thing.
something fine. It's just they're going to piss it away.
So the college, you know, it built it up, and now, you know, they've the
Now
tragedy
it's
of the past is forgotten.
yeah, like the
And
tragedy's kind of gotten. We're all good, and then they even talk about like the local, like sort of the local area and things like that. And then they give us our villains for the group, the Nelder Wellness Group.
they make everything from candy to tobacco products with a focus on marketing to young people. Now, the point of their products is not to actually be healthy, it's to make their customers feel healthy while turning a profit.
Which is pretty common. That's the point of
Yep.
diet beverages, for example.
Oh god, look at the image right after.
What the fuck?
I have a few things. I
What
assume
what
the
the fuck
guy
is actually happening? So
I
so it's like
the guy is probably reading Hunter. The rule book's like, what is it? Why is there a Jewish guy with a hammer?
he's
Yeah,
probably looking at this like, oh no, the anti-gay fairy boogeyman has come out of the bed because
Also, can someone explain what that art is? It's either an axe, like an animal's skull, or something that I'm too embarrassed to say.
they
I
got
don't
it from
even know
Monos.
what that's
It's
supposed
the photo from Monos, the Hands of Fate.
to
It looks like something you'd see in the Master's house
Oh
from Monos, the
wow.
Hands of Fate.
Sure, we'll go with that.
The Master told me I could borrow this when I went to college.
So the company seeks out partnerships to stay afloat,
Yeah,
and
this is
they've already
Pentex
made a
like.
deal.
This is Pentex
Yep.
light. Fuck the man, corporate slop.
So they want to use biphenyloxetine as an all-natural ingredient that offers the benefits of stimulants with no side effects. And the entrant called
That
Thusi is currently under testing at Burlington. Um, they use the Thusi Floozies who appear on the strip every Thursday night. This quartet of attractive students make their way through the bars at Clancy Street, offering free samples of the drink to thirsty students.
And this is
Now,
where
it's
it
popular.
starts falling apart because the concept makes actually good sense because a lot of colleges actually do get their funding from corporate experiments. They
Yeah,
do.
they do. A lot of them have sponsorship either from like a grant offered by a corporation because they're providing research that the company can use,
Yep.
or future employees for the company. That's another big one.
And don't forget, like,
Um,
allowing for spaces for selling. A lot of colleges, for example, allow you to slot in like a McDonald's or like Coca-Cola vendors.
yeah, and like the start of the Thuzy Floozies is kind of like, I'm like, okay, now I see where, and then the last one is like where I'm like, okay.
So them trying to regain the chemicals because of some of the interesting side effects, not the mental, but the physical, makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah, makes
Them
sense.
funding it
So
makes
there's like,
sense. Them getting like
so
random college girls to like go all fucking
take their top
stripperific.
off.
Hey,
Yeah, that's where I'm
That's
like,
brain dead. That's brain dead.
that's brain.
that's brain
That would
dead.
not fly today. That
That would not fly at any institution.
That would not fly in any
Like,
institution.
if you changed it to just employees,
yeah,
then
like
it makes sense.
then it makes more sense. Or like the
Or
local strip club, like
or
they
what you
hire
could do,
people out of there or whatever.
you could do the strip club, or you well, actually you can't because it's in Vermont. Vermont actually doesn't allow that sort of shit, really.
Vermont bans strip clubs. More reasons not to go to Vermont,
Well,
I
actually, no.
guess.
Let me double check. They might allow it, but I'm pretty sure Burlington. It's a
Look, it's
college
not just the
town.
Migo. It's not just the Migo that are going to steal your brain. It's also that there's no strippers in Blow. Like, good God, fucking awful state, man. Like, why
I,
would you go there? I guess the maple syrup is like Canadian craft,
they
but
might
like,
have it. I'd have to look, but I vaguely remember. I don't think like this is Burlington, Vermont, man. This is not a.
look, it's most famous for its fucking coat factory.
Yeah, it is. It's famous for that. It's coat factory. It's famous for its coat factory. It's a college town. You could. What they should have done is they should have had an agreement with several local bars for this is something that you can serve alongside liquor. Or
Yeah,
they could
Oh
do it
yeah.
because there's a lot of coffee houses in Burlington. Vermont is well known for coffee culture, similar to Washington State, actually. You
yeah.
could do it that way. Or alternatively, and this would make a lot of sense, you could just provide taste testing or vending machines at the local college itself. Like,
So wait,
hey,
Burlington's actually like completely fictional. The college.
Oh,
I thought it
I
was.
could have
No, there's
sworn
an
that there
actual
was a
college,
college
though.
around Burlington.
but it's probably
Is
not
there a
called
college in
Burlington.
Burlington?
There has to be. I remember
Probably,
it's a college town, too.
but it's probably not called Burlington
Let me check. I
College.
could have
Yeah, let's
swore
actually look this up. Because I
But
swear that there's one.
there is one.
Wait, there is a college in Burlington, Vermont called Burlington College.
Yeah, I told you.
Well, it was. So it ceased operations in 2016.
Yeah, but it was like,
Motto was "Start a Fire," by the way.
yeah, like that's the thing. Burlington College was real. That's why I was like, no, there is there was
Yeah,
like it
that's
was
why
a
we got.
college town.
It was a college town. That's why we got confused there. Because I'm like, wait a second. So I guess this is an alternate history timeline where the college didn't close.
maybe.
That's the
Though
other
they
problem. Now, if you
yeah.
had this take
No,
place,
no, they're making this Burlington is it a one stoplight town. They're making this a rural town.
that's so
Why?
stupid.
Burlington's a big.
It's one of the
Well,
largest
because
towns in
that
Vermont.
well because then you'd have to research an entire town, and that's
Well,
too
that
much
makes
there's
this
effort.
even less.
so there's
This makes
Burlington,
even less
Vermont,
sense.
and then there's
I don't,
Burlington, Vermont,
no,
which is a
they
different
yeah.
Burlington. Which,
I guess it's like how
but
there's
why?
5 different Springfields.
Yeah, but usually they're not in the same state.
It's unfair to call it a one stoplight town there too. They're on the main cross street, state highway running through the middle into Main Street. They also don't tell you where the town is.
They just say it's in New England region.
Yeah, it's based on Burlington fucking College. They're just too chicken shit to actually link it to the actual college because it's defunct.
Because they want to probably make it like regional agnostic.
That's so dumb.
Well, then just fucking call it Miskatonic University.
You
It's a
should.
fucking public domain.
It's public domain. Yeah, if they called it Miskatonic U, that'd have been fine. You know what they could have also called it? Just call it like, I don't know, Freeport Institute or something. Like have it be
Yeah,
like,
like
oh yeah, it's in Arkham County, Massachusetts, or.
like if they'd done that, I would have had a lot more respect for them. But
But
then
they're
again, I don't know if
pussies.
Chaosium has like a license for that.
It,
I don't know.
it
Yeah,
doesn't
they
matter.
might actually. They might.
It doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
But
You can make something up.
But
I think for specifically Arkham, I think that is something that at least in the RPG space, that I think that they'd probably
You
get
might
into
not
some
be able
trouble
to
with
call it
Chaosium.
Arkham, but you could use some of the. There's other towns there. You could have it be in like Rhode
Yep.
Island.
But to continue on, the next few
Oh, that's
pages talk about
trash. You pussies.
the locations in the area.
Oh no, they're talking about the two towers. Fuck.
We don't really get
We have a 9/11
we
reference already.
we get page 48 actual discussion of the
So you're
creature,
going
the
to
Peripheral
9/11.
Man.
I'm just envisioning like on one of the towers, you see their college dean who's like 90, dressed like Saruman, saying, "A new power is rising," screaming at his students from it.
Yeah,
But
I mean
sir,
that would also be fun.
we're out of funds. What would it be? Take the tuition from the nearby town.
Hyper
Take
industrialized.
everything.
Get the floozies. Get more floozies. More pimps.
Bring more
thrust.
floozies to the bars. The topless nights must continue for $3 a night for the pitchers.
And you hear the band class start doing the forging of Isinger.
Yeah.
As you see
Yeah.
women just like at the strip club.
Strip club, yeah. All right, but the Peripheral Man.
So again, it's because they never saw it clearly. It was just in their periphery. Elongated
Yeah,
human
it's a
form
weird
with
it's a
dark
weird fairy thing.
body. Some of the clearest evidence are tapes and audio recordings from the experiments. They heard them talking in otherwise empty rooms. Reviewing the tapes, they heard a second voice on the recordings talking back. So, photographic evidence remains loosely, except there are old film photos from the Wagner Hall that did catch the creature's image. The best one was a quickly snapped Polaroid in a bathroom mirror.
Yeah, I think that the monster is actually a decent monster.
It's an okay
Yeah, this is-
monster
But-
concept, but I don't really care for it. I feel like the big threat should actually be the psychoactive chemical.
I mean, yeah, that's the weird thing about this.
Like, this is not the threat. Like, it's the wellness group that's the threat, not this thing.
Well, it is, but this is the quarry, because when they started redoing the experiments, the Peripheral Man started coming back. It says the first sign of the change came recently when the Peripheral Man felt the long-lost tingle of mortal minds, thanks to the new product. He marveled at the changes he saw in the mortal realm. He knew this time he had to guide them to open the doors wider. This was it. Either he stays in their world or he's pushed back into his strange dark realm forever. He's missed human warmth. He's missed the smell of rain on trees. All these sensations fill him completely. He'll do anything to keep keep feeling them forever.
Which is okay. The problem is I just like I don't find this guy threatening really.
So
I mean, the main thing is that why he's threatening though is because of the drug. They talk about this. So it's on page 51. They go into what the drug actually does, and what they note is that the more doses someone has, they can become what's known as hollowed out, and if they're hollowed out, the Peripheral Man can possess them.
Which, if you're wondering, hollowing out, I think is very. Didn't they actually have a similar concept with one of the Formori? Actually,
I think so.
Ooh.
It's an interesting one.
It's okay. It's just I don't know. There's something about this guy that I don't find that interesting.
I
don't find that interesting.
They do bring up some people. Daniel Washington, the survivor. So he got a job at Burlington College in the 70s as a maintenance worker. He wondered what his life would be if he could afford to take the classes. They treated him all right, but once he started to hear the whispers of the Peripheral Man, he wondered if he needed to get a job elsewhere.
I like how you had. I like how you kind of slipped past the little bit of current racial issue event moment there.
It wouldn't be current. It would have been the 70s.
Mind you, that was 1970s.
It's the 70s, which is perfectly fair.
It's New England. Yes.
In the 70s,
yes,
yeah.
I
know. He barely survived his first full encounter with the Peripheral Man, but he knew the school had to take drastic measures to stop it. He should have stopped the fire, got more people out, or told the truth to the police and fire department. But an accident kept the curious away, and without anyone asking questions...
Wait, this is just it.
Wait.
They're just stealing it.
No, hold on. Wait a minute, I just realized something. How could he get a job in the 70s if the fire happened in 67?
He couldn't. He wouldn't be there.
Yeah. You're right.
Is this an error? Is this an editing error?
It's a massive editing error.
Whoops.
By the way, like, I was focused on, this is just the plot of It. This is just the plot of fucking It. This is just
Oh, it's gonna
Pennywise the
come back
Clown.
in 15 years.
God damn it.
And then you
Look, it's not a giant spider that has to be defeated by shooting rocks at it with a slingshot. So it's not It. Also, it's not in Maine. It's in Vermont. They're
It's in
different.
it's not in New. It's in generic New England.
It's in
Oh
Lovecraft
no,
country.
it could be in Maine.
It's in Derry, Maine.
Oh no.
Let's see who else. We've
I
got the
do
president
like,
of the college, Hamilton Zachary.
yeah, like
Oh
that's the
boy.
most white guy name of all time. Hamilton Zachary.
That's kind of why I was that's kind of why I was complaining about the Survivor moment,
That is
because
the
you know
most
what they were
wasp
doing.
name I've ever fucking, yeah.
Because you know
Mind you,
what
it
they're
fits for
doing. That's
like,
the problem.
look, it fits for like upper class
It
snooty
fits for
college
New
president.
England. It's just, holy
It
shit, could you be
does.
less blatant?
Oh,
Could you be less white? You're so fucking Caucasian, you're just bleaching everything around you.
So wait,
Darkson
I
wanted
might be
to see
right.
the stats.
So the
He
plot of
wanted to
It,
also see the stats for it. So
we'll do that. He has health
yeah,
6, willpower 6, stealth 10, insight 10, intimidation 10. His dice pulls are fucking insane, by the way.
and he's vulnerable to mirrors. He takes
Yeah.
1 level of superficial damage if he sees himself in the mirror.
I mean, that's at least neat, I guess.
Should it somehow physically pass through a mirror, it takes aggravated damage instead.
So basically, what you're saying is what you need to do is you need to take a mirror, break it up, and take the fragments and put it on like gloves or something, and just start slapping him.
Yep.
That would be the most stupid fucking thing.
Oh no, I got a better one. The local carnival shows up, and you're in the Hall of Mirrors.
You have to go into the Hall of Mirrors to
He's
fight the monster.
well,
Yeah.
no, he's fucked if they go in there.
So
Yeah,
if you're
that's how you
wondering,
get the monsters. You go to the local fun house. Like, okay,
why what's the plot of It, I'm comparing this to It. There was a horrible incident that resulted in the deaths and destructions of several victims, and then X amount of years later, in this New England town with a dark secret, it has returned, and the survivor has been waiting there for a long time to bring others to stop it.
They all float down here.
That's kind of why I'm pointing out
All
that it
float
does
down here.
remind me. It's also an Eldritchian creature that is not quite of this world, really. So it has a lot of the basic elements of, well, fucking It, really. The only difference is it even also kind of adopts a humanoid form like It does, only it's not a clown.
Well, next up is Allison Dalton, the project manager for Nelder. Thing
Oh,
is,
by the way,
yeah. Like
white
we don't
guy
have to go
is
through every
white
character.
president is evil white guy who is like corporate stooge, just to let you know.
So every university president you will ever meet.
Also, white woman evil because runs the company.
well,
Does she have a dog though?
she doesn't believe in the paranormal even when approached with hard evidence.
I do
The-
like Manny. Manny's kind of
Yeah.
neat, but he's not really.
He's the local internet provider that's subcontracted out because of Burlington's small size.
He's the one IT guy. So here's the thing that they fucked up because they don't know this. So yes, all colleges do have an IT staff, and much like in many other corporate, I actually in some ways even more so, they are treated like absolute dog water. Never be a
Yeah.
college
Yeah.
IT man. It is the worst thing you can ever fucking be. Because not only do you have to deal with the government idiots, because in a lot of cases they're government funded, so you have brainless people going, well, how come I can't just make my password my dog's name again after I
Not
got
only do you have to
hacked?
deal with,
But
not
then
only
you
do
got to
you have to
deal with
deal with
like
people
Karens who
who,
will try to destroy you because you don't allow them to like look at Facebook to ogle people without shirts on.
yeah, it's miserable.
Yeah,
Don't do school IT stuff.
school
It
IT
is
is the
miserable.
worst because they will try to blackmail you as soon as they fucking get a chance to. They
And
are trash.
we've got last up
I do
Dylan
say
Kramer is the just
he's
the
like
average student.
he's somebody that's kind of like involved tangentially and might help you out against the.
Then they
They
give
give you some ideas of how to add this to the your chronicle, which I
yeah.
guess like I'm looking over them. There's some
Oh,
story hook
oh wait, no, it's
ideas.
even
Some of
dumber
them were
than that.
decent.
It's even dumber. I'm looking. He also is the town IT guy on top of the college IT guy. So this is both
Oh
correct and fucking
no!
wrong. This is both correct and fucking wrong because I actually know of a town that was like this. There's a lot of very small towns where basically if you know how to run a computer and basically can manage a server for like your Minecraft team, you're basically the town IT guy. They will ask you to build the website and everything in those types of scenarios. That's true, but there is no way in God's green earth will an IT man who has a lucrative career under Burlington also manage the town. That's kind of like, this is
Yeah,
nonsense. This is complete fucking nonsense.
I think that they wanted to do like the local doctor, and then they realized, oh shit, we really can't do that, and so then they got
If
this
you
guy,
wanted him to be like a local IT man who can manage the
local
database for
old
you,
man who gives you like. I think that their entire point is that this is your exposition dumper.
he is because he
That's
knows
his
this.
point.
He's obsessed with Peripheral Man,
Yeah, so
which
they
is
wanted a reason
fine
for you to be.
if they made him just like, oh
Yeah,
yeah, I run the college IT. I can help you
I
here.
run the local coffee shop. I run the local. I'm the local librarian. I'm the weird professor who's been here for 30
If they
years or
made him,
whatever the
yeah,
fuck.
I'm the
Like,
IT guy that runs the servers. Here's how you can. Here you go. This can maybe help you. This is the access. This is the access code to like a generic account
oh
to
god.
get onto their, to get into their biologics website. If they had it like
They
that,
give
where he's like, hey, here you can have here's a little back door. But the problem is that actually makes it way too convenient for your hunter team.
yeah. They
Yeah.
do have at the end of this on page 61 the response algorithm. So as the danger goes up, what the responses are. Um,
Oh, so like how the
oh,
peripheral man
oh,
behaves.
I
That's
really
actually
need,
kind of clever.
well, that and the Nelder Wellness Group. As it says, Nelder takes legal action or discreetly hires heavies, e.g., the Pinkerton
Pinkertons.
Oh
agency,
god, no,
to threaten
it's
this.
even worse. Like, you're missing all of the horrible things. So student bodies, there's a bunch of these horrible ones.
Okay, I will give student bodies this. It has the best name for a shitty paranormal group of all time.
Spook
Spook
talk.
Talk.
Literally TikTok, but for ghosts.
It's a Spook Talk influencers, and it's just like, oh my fucking god, I want to punch these kids already. Like,
No, I want to punch the creators
ugh.
because they didn't come up with a name.
I don't think that they did, but either way, like I want to fucking hurt these kids. Like for fuck's sake, I absolutely loathe most paranormal
Oh
influencer
no, that
bullshit.
is the
Like
name
it's
they
like
chose it. Oh no. Oh no. I kind of
yeah,
low key fucking hate this a lot.
I low key wanna hurt them because they're just like a bunch of it's like the fucking Paul brothers, except that they're with like ghosts, and it's just like I fucking hate these people already, and I've only read like 3 lines about them. Let them
There's also
die.
the governor man who is no, there's the politician man who is trying to become a governor,
And gets
Yeah,
possessed.
there's that. There's a
and
few
he might
like
get
again, these are
possessed, I
like
guess.
story hooks.
There is one where first light the guys hunting the government agency hunting the vampires shows up and hands it off to you because wait, this isn't a vampire.
Yeah, whatever. Not our jurisdiction, kid.
But yeah,
Which admittedly is like the most government thing, but also like doesn't make any sense. So why?
Also, Squirrel Killer, you're right. The IT man is way too clean shaven. He should be basically like a dude who's also on drugs because the one guy I knew who was the town IT guy, he also ran
Oh
a
yeah,
small micro weed farm.
yeah. The local town IT guy. Here's 2 things you can know about him. Number one, he will probably have a van. The van will probably have a wizard painted on it. Number two, he will probably either look like he has recently come out of a Grateful Dead concert, or he will be Grognard the dwarf.
In this case, he had a very long neck beard, and he actually kept a
Mm.
small team of. of essentially migrant workers to work on his microweed farm that he kept in his basement.
What a lad. All
That's
right.
okay. It's okay though because the mayor was also outed for smoking crack, so it was not like he was going to get busted.
What? Hold on. Hold on.
In the town
You
council,
can't
3
just
of them
drop
got
that.
busted for drugs.
You can't not just drop that in the middle of us talking about a shitty book. Like, dude.
That's small town
The
America.
I mean, it is small town America. Like, yeah, but it's like Jesus Christ. Like, I had a meth lab next to my middle school, but like, good fucking God.
By the way, to give you an idea on the nature of this small town, their town hall was also their fire department and their museum for said fire department because it used to be a mining town.
Oh, yeah, that sort of small town. Like, I'm used to the farm small town where
No,
it's like,
this was a mountain community that basically tried to skirt the law around
oh,
drug uses decades before weed became legalized.
oh, one of those towns. All right.
One of the first to also have a dispensary the moment that medical was allowed. It used to be the computer shop that was run by the IT man.
Did he start that business?
No, he did not. A guy who had a horde of pit bulls did. He has like a half dozen fucking pit bulls. By the way, to give you an idea on the nature of this town, the town church is the cleanest building in said town, mainly because no one goes there except on service days.
Oh, yep, that's small town America for you.
Just to give you an idea, because Burlington's described as a town similar to this, so Manny is a fan fiction character. He's not real, unless he's also able to provide them drugs.
I mean, he does have a cat named Cod for whatever reason.
He named his cat after Call of Duty. This man is fake IT. He's a script
No,
kiddie.
he named it after what the creature eats. Get it?
Destroy him.
But all right, so
him.
The next
next one is Keen Campus, which is
so it has invented an AI that can impersonate your deceased loved ones.
Oh, by the way, if you're wondering, Squirrel Killer, the town I'm referring to is actually from Colorado, and no, it's not South Park. It's basically to the northwest of Grand Junction.
Oh God, I'm looking over this and I'm already hating it.
Oh, is it the AI thing? Oh, this is gonna. Oh no.
Well, no, it's not AI. It's essentially a portal to the ghosts.
That it's using AI, and
it's opening. It's an open to the Skinlands.
I'm out.
Nope.
All right, we just want to skip this one.
Like,
so
they even they describe the spectral entities.
Let's be fair. Let's do a little bit. Tech startup Keen claims to have invented a form of AI. This is already shit. This is already really shit.
So, the Keen app promises to reconnect
offering virtual immortality and shit like that. Like
a facsimile of their dead loved one. Which, wait a minute, this is the Cyberpunk video game.
It is.
Yeah.
They stole the plot of it for the first one. This is stealing from Cyberpunk in this one.
Cyberpunk 2077.
They call their chatbots shades.
Yeah, a little on the nose there.
Get it?
This sucks.
Oh.
Also, how is this a college campus? This is a fucking startup. This is a tech startup in Silicon Valley.
It's supposed to be it's supposed to be a tech campus.
It's not a tech campus. It's a fucking company.
Campus.
This is stupid.
It started as a STEM-focused university in Hartford, Connecticut.
No. They wouldn't be in Connecticut. Yeah. They'd be in California or Washington or in Oregon. They wouldn't be
public
here.
The public areas have recreational facilities like a board game library, which I guarantee you does not have anything but the most basic fucking board games.
This is just them basically because they know a little bit
cafeteria.
About... This is the Web 1.0 like startup boom when you were given a lot of bullshit. Like their employees were given a lot of bullshit fripperies.
Oh, yeah, here's the thing. Do you want to know what a Keen app user that has been cut off from contact with their shade is called?
Hollow.
A doom scroller.
Oh
This is terrible.
God. Like,
And,
there's
and
cheesy, and then there's this.
there's an empty one, which is one who's been completely possessed by a spectral entity.
How is this a college campus? I think they just.
This isn't.
This is a tech startup. They couldn't even come up with a. Hey, we're gonna
Is
come
this
up with a
supposed to
bunch
be
of
like?
colleges. Oh,
Is this supposed to be like the? Did they think that the campus on Google's headquarters meant it was a college?
I don't fucking know.
this is a joke. Oh my
It's
god.
it's not even like as a tech startup. Okay, yeah, sure,
I could see. Yeah,
this
like
is
I can
fine. But
see it.
why is this here?
You know what
Why
they
why
should
is
do?
this in this book?
What they should have done, even though it's a little bit obsolete now, is they should have also been allowed. You should have been allowed to mint NFTs of your dead loved ones using this app.
Oh,
Oh, that gives me an idea.
oh,
Right, right.
that's a
Isn't it?
little too
Wait,
real
hold on.
there.
Isn't in Wraith that you can make someone's soul into an item?
Yes, you can make someone's soul into an
They mint
NFT.
dead people into NFTs. Let's go.
Let's fucking go. I mean, that is horrific enough for Wraith.
I
So
think I
yeah,
came up with a good Wraith plotline right there.
they're minting souls into
The,
NFTs
the, the
unwittingly
crashing
as a
of
plot
crypto,
by something. Yeah,
the crashing of crypto
we need
coin
to
was
crash
Wraith.
Bitcoin because there's some fucking ghosts in the machines forging souls into Bitcoins. Fuck.
I think I came up with a better
That's actually
plot.
not bad. That's not bad as a plot.
So yeah.
Anyway,
It's
we're
also an
going over to the
interesting way to play with the
Philippines.
skin lands because you can play around with the mage internet thing with it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Also, Shucknut. You could interact with Shucknut.
I think I
Sorry, I had to yawn.
so Adam accidentally created a far better plot than this horse shit. Wow.
I think we got an adventure for Storyteller Vault.
Yeah, which is, are you a bad enough ghost to crash the crypto network?
Are you a bad enough Geist? Are you
You
bad enough?
must steal the ape NFTs in order to reforge the souls of your lost comrades.
Yeah,
My apes! They stole my apes!
they're
God.
they're called Reven and they're called Reven FTs. Rev
Oh, that's terrible, but I
NFT.
love that. Revived NFTs is what the revised NFTs, but of course revenants. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good. That's a good one. That's much better than anything that this book could come up with.
So I'm
But
saying, because of that, we'll go on to the
I rate this
Bellingham University.
garbage. This section is
I read this
straight
chapter
garbage.
garbage. Why is this in this book?
Also, yes, they're
So
called doom scrollers. Here it is. This dude's cutting himself because he can't talk to his AI generated dead girlfriend.
Look, all right, we've all seen Archer. If you had Krieger's AI waifu, would you not spend the rest of your life with her?
what show?
Have you not seen Archer?
No.
Oh man, you're missing out. It's good. It's like a spy joke show. Like the main character's like sort of a spoof on James Bond. Anyway, uh, on to Bellum
Yeah, this is
University in
So
the
butt.
Plays.
this is a Philippine university that is being run by vampires.
Okay, that
I thought
actually
all
doesn't.
universities were ran by vampires,
So it
but
started out
fish.
as a
By the way,
Catholic
just to give you an
convent.
idea before we cut off, so that entire section that we just skipped, I think was longer than the Burlington one. That was one of the ones they had pride in. This shitty fucking ghost AI thing. Sorry about that.
So it was started by it was originally for Catholic nuns, for the children, or the daughters of Spanish nobility. Now
Fair
it's
enough.
fully co-ed, and they're all about prestige and power.
I don't think it would be called Bellium though. I think it would have been called something else. It would have been named after like a Spanish saint or something.
Yeah,
I
alumni are meant
feel
to.
like the name
Yeah.
is incorrect and wrong, and they wouldn't name it that in the Philippines.
So alumni are meant to move on and step into the role of society's elites. They bring up that the graduates were champions for the voiceless, especially as soldiers during the Japanese occupation, World War II, student martyrs who perished during President Marcos's dictatorship. But it turns out they were also on the other side. They were selling secrets to the cronies of Marcos and to rebels. So they play both sides.
I feel like this is a bad take. This is a
It
little too
per,
close to Old World of Darkness where it
yeah.
controls everything. This is dumb.
Well,
The problem is
here's
I get it. Like I perfectly get it. This would be like if you took over Yale and Harvard because that would allow you to essentially get your pick of the Supreme Court justices actually. Because
oh
if you
that Yale
well
thing.
no because if you actually look at the law degrees that every court justice has ever had, it is always from one of those two schools. I think maybe a third Ivy League and that's it. That would be an example of what they're going for, but the problem is they're going way too fucking hard on it.
That makes a funny thing of if the Supreme Court justices are basically just the pawns of two different vampires.
That actually would make me fucking laugh.
Explains why everyone in Congress is so old.
They they
They're
randomly
all ghouls
they're
of
all
two
gold.
different vampires.
They're all
They're all
gold. Okay, we're starting to get into Berlin by night territory, where World War I, World War II, and the deaths of millions of people were caused by
yes.
one angry German vampire.
So they say that the students come from affluent families. They're trying to get, or
No
they're saying
shit,
they're
because
trying to
this is
get.
supposed to be allegedly this is supposed to be where you send your elites. In reality, since this was a prep school for girls, this was basically the wife whispering into the ear of the husband traditionally.
They apparently actually say it. They reference. Who was it?
Which, by the
What
way,
do they
was a very
reference?
common method. If you couldn't get to the leader, you went to his wife.
They reference as a rumor that many of the blue ladies were from this college. Apparently, that is a group of women that were connected to various power players during the Marcos dictatorship.
Well, yeah.
Um,
Basically, Marcos had his own favorites, and they were pretty well known. Yeah.
and while it has its education, it has a It pretty much is also a party school as well. Students are expected to be hardcore party animals that then show up presentable next morning. Um, they also say that the brilliant minds behind the infamous troll farms and disinformation campaigns in Philippine politics graduated from Belgium University.
You don't
Generations of
need to do
alumni.
that. You don't really
I
need to do that. You
you,
can just pay people like slightly below living wage to actually do it
Yeah,
for that.
the
There's a
the
reason why the Chinese just have what's called the 50-cent army.
yeah they have people cleaning up the country's worst images, sanitizing stories about martial law and human rights violations. Which
They're going
the
really
thing
hard
is,
because the current president of the Philippines is a radical populist again. That's why they wrote
and
this.
is well also and the son of the dictator.
And the
yeah,
son of
he
the
is the
dictator,
son
yeah.
of the dictator, so it's like,
But
Um,
you can tell why
yeah,
they
it's a
wrote
little.
this, and it's a little
what
too axe grindy.
Here's the thing. I would have wanted more context on what's going on in the Philippines now, because
That would have
I'm
fucking
not.
helped, yeah, because I
Yeah,
forgot he was the son of the goddamn dictator. I actually forgot about that.
Yeah,
but then there's
I just
also.
knew like his political positions.
Oh, I forgot to add. So there originally were three vampires that controlled this university. They were overthrown by four vampires,
Yep.
and it turns out there were seven or no, six other universities from across the world that are connected to this one, and they're still okay with it.
That sounds really dumb.
Oh, it gets worse. So you have the Belém University.
Oh wait,
You
are all
have
of these so these are all Tremere then because of the 7, yeah?
no, no, or at least it doesn't seem like it. You have the University of Saint Eldara, which was established in the 12th century, but
Okay.
then the Inquisition happened and they caused moving powers.
and they moved away. There's Queenscrag Academy, which is
Bullshit.
London.
that's a terrible name.
The
Terrible name
Valdelian
and it's bullshit.
yeah, the Valdelian Institute, which is in San Francisco, which was briefly the headquarters, but then the anarchs happened.
This is stupid.
The Kleos University, which is the youngest,
Stupid.
established in the 1700s. Its biggest
Brainless.
claim to fame is how they secretly helped pro-war factions consolidate and join the Axis powers.
And here we are, the worst thing that has ever been fucking written in this book right here.
2 things. 1, how could vampires get there when I believe Japan was in an isolationist
It
period?
was not only isolationist,
Japan was
but it was the
mostly
Quajin.
isolated.
And 2, why would they make that a claim to fame?
Also, it's the
Why would they
also
even?
the Quajin.
Okay, time out here. This is 1700s Japan. While Japan did have institutes of higher learning, there were not many of them.
And they
They were basically all.
And they were solely based on their own institutions. The
Yeah.
closest they allowed
They were not
outside of the
foreign
West were
at
the
all.
Dutch, which is called Rengaku, Red Learning because of the
Yeah,
Dutch.
and they had Dutch
That's
studies,
it.
and you could take Dutch studies, but that was a completely different thing than.
By the way, the Dutch studies
than
were not
this.
taught by Dutch. It was taught by a Japanese guy who knew a Dutch guy at the fucking docks.
Yeah, they would buy Dutch textbooks and translate them and
Like, this
talk
is
to
a
people
load of
and, like,
garbage.
yeah.
This is a load of garbage. This actually, I think, is on par with Berlin by Night. This is one of the stupidest fucking things they have written in a long time.
Here's the 6th one. The 6th is the Almunir
Yes,
University,
because the Catholic Order of Vampires. Okay. Look, I know they don't care about that stuff because it's all about
that's the
power,
thing.
but fuck off.
Well, they don't. However, this university does. Somehow they're critical about the overly Christian slant of the other universities.
This is
They only cooperate when it serves them, is what they
And
say, which is
and finally, Universidad de San Gabriel in Mexico City.
as we have all known in World of Darkness, the heart of all evil is either in Mexico or Spain. There's
Also, wait,
no exceptions.
I just realized this. They're in Sabbat territory, or what would have been Sabbat. How did they establish this? I mean, I know
in the 1700s. Yeah, they wouldn't have.
Well, no, I remember V5 retcon basically as retcon things, but how?
Well, no, they didn't even retcon this because the big thing is, like, Mexico for a fucking long time, like since the 1500s, really, was the
Mexico's been
like it's been for
Mexico
a long
is the Sabbat
goddamn
territory.
time. Yeah.
Like, that's the thing. The La Sombra followed Spanish colonization in order to
because the La Sombra
establish
lore-wise were strongly tied to the church. That was their main avenue of power.
Right.
That's why a lot of the leadership terms in the Sabbat are clerical in nature.
But
that, and then why they're able to go to Canada and Mexico so easily. Well, guess who the main colonizers of those are? The French and the Spanish.
And since the Catholic Church had a lot of corruption from this time period, because they're hinting the Sabbat kind of led to what became the Reformation.
Wait, hold on. If the Sabbat are from where the Spanish and the French were, does that explain Haiti?
No, Haiti's like
they never think about it, but yeah, probably.
So
Hades, what happens when the masquerade completely breaks down?
Yeah. So this Mexican university.
The dumbest thing.
No. Here's the thing. So they actively support rebellion against Spain, then funneled their clout, influence, and resources towards born and bred Mexican drug lords, dictators, businessmen, and landlords. Obviously, the last thing is the worst of all. I don't get the drug lords.
Drug lords weren't really a thing in Mexico until
there were,
really
but the
1900s.
No. Traditionally, Mexican drug lords did not grow their own supply until the new generation cartels that formed in the 60s. Traditionally, they made their money as middlemen. Basically, they would take it from the Colombians or areas further south, and then they would make a killing selling it up north. That's traditionally how they made their money.
Middlemen.
They got their start in the drug trade directly, rum running actually. They got, like, a lot of them started life as basically fighting the prohibition. That's where the Zoot Suit thing came from, by the way.
I realized
this is nonsense, because by this logic, this means this is all Sabbat-led shit. It would have to be all Sabbat-led shit.
Doesn't make sense for the Sabbat.
Also, here's the other thing. If the youngest one was established in the 1700s, then the Valdelon Institute, which is in San Francisco, was made during the Spanish colonial period. I don't know if they had universities out there.
California was literally so that's even more full of shit, because California, the Estado de California, No, there was no one there. Almost no one there. They had a
Yeah, that's
couple
kind of what I mean.
thousand
Like,
guys in like the San Francisco area, and that was about it.
yeah, like I was about to say, like that
That
doesn't
area
really
was
make sense. They
criminally
don't say it was
undercolonized.
yeah, they don't say it was like a university. They say it was like a small art school or whatever. But
Yeah.
even then,
If
like
they said it
Why would it?
grew if they said it grew from a monastery that was built by the Spanish, that would have made more sense.
they don't though.
Yeah.
So skip it.
Well,
All
This
the rest of this is garbage.
they do say the conceit of the Pleiades being mostly Christian is deliberate, as the marriage between white supremacy, fascism, and Christianity is something we continue to see today. Similarly, as
die.
mentioned before, all
Just die.
Pleiades are a result of imperialism and colonization. So explain the Moroccan and the Japanese one to me.
Yep.
Well, Japan did have an empire, but then why the fuck was it done in the 1700s and not when Japan
Yep.
was in its imperial expansion period in the 18 and early 1900s? Like what the fuck?
I fucking hate this.
Good on you for making an axe to grind that I'm gonna be honest does not come up
Also,
elsewhere in this section.
by the way, congratulations in your desire to shit on the Philippines because you hate the son of the dictator. Don't get me wrong, he's a fucking clown. But because
How
of
the
your
fuck are you
hatred,
tying the Philippines to the white
no,
supremacy? I don't get
not
it.
only that, but congratulations, every fucking one except for the arguably California one, not and the London one, not white. Congratulations.
This is the most diverse group of
Congratulations.
white supremacists I've seen outside of Pol.
I'm just now
Like,
envisioning like this Filipino vampire saying
this is the
still
fucking
whiter
Pol
than you,
meetup of white
Sven, pointing
supremacists.
at White Wolf in Sweden. Still whiter than you, Sven, and he's like clearly of African
I don't.
descent.
He's fucking Argentinian and like the
No,
darkest skinned man you'll ever
he's like
see.
Filipino. So like you see his strong Tagalog features.
Good God.
Jesus
And
fucking
then
Christ.
it's like they bring that up as a theme, but I don't see it elsewhere. Like, is it
No,
just stating the
this is
fact that it's a
just
theme
I
makes it a
hate the
theme?
Philippines. I hate the populist president man running it. Ree! That's all it is. I
Like
hate rich people,
nowhere,
You can
even though I'm a rich person benefiting from one of the richest nations in Europe. Ree! That's what they're doing.
none of this is,
This is a joke.
none of the issues
I
of religion is brought up. Like,
it's like a tangent. It's such a vague tangent. I mean,
This
they're
is
talking about like the Saint Bergen Society, but like that's
the main thing
Hildegard von
they're getting
the
at
Bingen.
is
But
concept
it's an
makes
elite.
sense.
Yeah,
This concept does make sense. It's just they fucked it. If you
yeah, like the
all you
idea
had
of
to
there's a
do.
secret vampire cabal that's infiltrated a bunch of universities and are using them to groom ghouls and new embraces. Like
That's
that's
all you had to
very
do. Like if
vampire.
you said that this was a college that gained a lot of influence because a lot of the wives and later on sons, when it became co-ed, were influenced by their vampiric overlords using their Gould teachers.
and I would say this: you can
That would
then
have been
say
fine. That would have been fine,
that
even
they're
for the
using
Philippines. It makes sense. It makes sense.
yeah
Elites
that
have a
they're
lot of power in countries. Holy shit.
yeah if they're saying that they use it for political elites, because then that could be any kind of political elite in the Philippines. You want to go for, I don't know, like the guys in the current government. You want to go with the radicals in like some of the parts that I think are actually
And that
fighting
could
the
lead to the
government.
schismatic war. Yeah, that can lead to the schism stuff that you run into, where like other vampires are trying to go against this small cabal that's basically been running the Philippines since the Spanish captaincy.
And even then, even though it's like really, really old world, at least there's an internal fucking logic to it.
But no, this is just Philippine
Nope.
bad because populism bad. You
Also,
Filipinos are
also,
too.
Philippines, look,
No,
the
you
Philippines are
Filipinos
also,
are
bad
white
because
supremacists. You Filipinos, you Tagalog speaking
look, no, the Philippines
motherfuckers.
suck because they're the Philippines, all right? Like it is the land of barking dogs and people yelling and mixes of Tagalog and Spanish in the background whenever they're on voice chat.
It's also home to Dinuguan, which
If
is
you
a
know
delicious
anyone
blood
in the
soup.
Philippines,
Yeah, but it's
yeah,
also home
like
to
if you know
some
any
delicious blood soups. They also have a very excellent. It's some type of lemonade drink that's really good. They have excellent
yeah.
cuisine.
the So after all this, they bring up the parts of the university and that sort of stuff. I'd like to draw your attention to page 98, where they talk about the nature reserve.
Oh no, don't forget the
Um,
convent is named for the most German to have ever been Germaned.
Hildegard
Hildegard
Yeah.
von
von Bingen.
Bingen.
But
But
Bingen.
so they say the nature reserve is also a hunting spot for Julian Tew. Who is Julian Tew?
They talk about him.
Oh
He's one of
no,
the
this is gonna be
vampires.
awful.
Yes, they do it later though. Like,
Blood soup. Yeah, dineguan is a type of pork blood soup. It's pretty good.
so they bring up the quartet of vampires. You have Isabella or
Conjuanco.
Coango.
Conjuanco.
Um,
I
this is a venture. This is
Cojuanco.
yeah, this is a
So
venture.
they have a Ventru, a Toreador, a
Or
Gangrel, and a I
uh,
don't know.
the necromancer one. It's I don't know. I guess the ministry technically is what it's
A
called, but
Giovanni?
Probably
no.
Giovanni now.
Well, no, what they consider the ministry, which is all the necromantic
Well, no,
factions.
yeah, that's the thing. It
Oh,
could
the
be any one of
Hecate,
them.
yeah.
Could be
Yeah.
It's one of the many. This is like an example of Vampire 5th corrupting things badly because you have no clue who the fuck this
Yeah,
is supposed
like
to
the
be.
Hecate is a fucking stupid concept.
I
I
mean,
can understand it as a political block, not as a
What's their
clan.
disciplines? Oh, they don't have any.
well, they
Yeah,
don't have it for Hunter. Hunter, like if you know about vampire or mage or stuff like that, you recognize what these are. But to the vampire, they don't know the difference between a Nosferatu and
That's
a
cope.
Toreador.
That's fucking cope. Because this is like if you're reading this, you're supposed to be the storyteller most likely. That's
yeah.
Yeah.
fucking cope. This is just not even they fucking can be bothered.
But yeah,
So
Bellum is
yeah,
done. I think basically it's like, oh, there's a bunch of
yeah.
other
Well, no, then you
talk
get to get
about.
the Chronicles. I need to get the one on page 108. Like,
Oh god,
subscribe, follow.
I fucking hate this.
A new
I
social
fucking
media
hate this.
account is all the rage. Short, VTuber hosted expose videos that reveal juicy truths about Belgium University. Now, I have to be honest here. I don't think these people watch VTubers
They
because when
don't.
the fuck are VTuber videos short? They're fucking live
They're
streams mostly.
streams, and on top of that, VTuber. The whole thing about VTubing is you're supposed to avoid getting doxxed. They wouldn't talk about this shit because it'd be too
The other
easy to
thing about
fucking dox them.
the other thing about VTubers is basically just personalities in front of a camera, which can be really great, also really, really terrible.
Though this does give me an interesting
Jesus.
idea of a Nosferatu that
Nosferatu VTuber is the
VTuber.
most cursed fucking thing of all time.
No,
Well,
I'm
no,
just.
because here's the thing. Because they can, they don't show their face. They're streaming at night or possibly any time of the day. No one has to know what they look like. They get income, and it keeps them in touch with humanity.
No, I actually really
The
love
idea
that
of
idea.
that is still like I would still have them creep out people just for whatever reason. There's a bunch of people that are like, this anime girl gives me bad vibes, Charlie. Like kind
No,
of feeling.
yeah.
Like
Like, what you should do is, like, they just kind of casually let slip some really disturbing shit, and they try to play it off like,
oh yeah,
you.
that's like when I it's like seeing a bone marrow pop open and sucking it all down, and it's like, what the fuck is this cute
And the
anime
only
girl
reason
saying?
she's able to
Well, the
kind of
thing
get
is that
away
would
with it is
make
because they're
them
going the
popular.
gothic look.
Yeah, I mean,
Like, you go,
I guess
like, they
that
Yeah,
there
lean
is
into it.
the
I think I can think about like 5 VTubers that are like that.
They should.
I
You
can
should
think of at
just have
least one.
like every now and again. There's just something really, just really fucked up that happens.
All right, next up is the Stonecrop Fine Arts Institute. Oh, it's a cult.
No, it's an institute
Also,
that
again, response algorithm. This is one of the, like,
yeah.
their decision to call this response algorithm is some of the dumbest shit ever.
No, the response algorithm is literally what the name should be. Like it's the algorithmic response. You
It just, my problem is it video gamifies this, and it sounds really fucking stupid.
Yeah.
it's more for the use of like a game master of like if this then this so that you can
No, I get it.
escalate and
It's
like track.
just, if you refer to it as that, it video gamifies a tabletop game, and that sounds really fucking stupid. What they should, you
Yeah,
can,
what if you
it would do the same thing and not sound stupid. Escalation.
Ye- yeah.
Just escalation.
So the Stonecrop Fine Arts Institute, it's in the north of England, and it was originally to guard against fair folk activity, but now that's been forgotten. And the masters who use the ancient blood of magic and sacrifice to keep the Fae at bay now use them for art. Congratulations, it's a Verbena cult that I guess now is using the blood for their own artistic purposes.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Weird. That's really about it.
the name's lame.
It's
The
not.
concept's lame.
No, the concept is like classic Call of Cthulhu shit of the cult
It's
sacrificing
classic,
people in the woods,
but it's lame.
but it's not great. It's not done well. It doesn't.
Like calling it Stonecrop, fair enough. There's a lot of small towns in England that sound really weird that's named after some stupid shit. Fair enough.
Oh,
There,
they have a hedge maze, by the way.
of course they do.
Oh yeah, of course they do. It's a fucking weird college in England. It's going to have a
Boring.
I
hedge
know,
maze.
but as soon as I saw that, I'm like, please tell me you're not doing Changeling the Lost. Please tell me you're not doing Changeling the Lost.
They're not, but it's still dumb.
Like, first off, I
Oh,
It's
wouldn't.
not.
oh wait, there is the Boggart House
Yeah, I mean there's the
or the
fairy
Hole.
stuff, but like, okay,
Um,
whatever. Like it's not.
So it's an
the
ancient.
The
It's an
most I
ancient
can say about
school.
this one is it doesn't make us actively mad. It
you do
just is
have
like, oh,
you do have the Masters. You have the
Well, no,
Right
no.
Honorable
I actually can complain about this because one of the problems I have with Stonecrop's existence is that it doesn't actually explain its justification to exist too well.
It's an art.
No, like you don't understand. Like a lot of old institutions actually wouldn't just do art. Like if it's part of the old, like you would have to explain like it's an outcropping from further universities that were sent further north, and that were sent further north, and then it declined or something. Like is it like they're describing this as being really old, but the way they explain it sounds really stupid. Like it doesn't evolve from say a monastery. It doesn't evolve from an abbey. It wasn't founded by a particularly wealthy northern English lord. Like there's no motivation for why it exists, just that it's a
Well, it
shitty
said,
art college in the north,
well, no.
which by the
It
way
says
is one of the
here,
most depressing windswept nightmares you can be in.
Stonecrop was originally in the 1400s, home for a priest and staff of a local Catholic church. 16th century, it was known as priest holes, were constructed to keep the clergy safe from Elizabeth's purge of the Catholics.
Okay, that's a
Um,
lot better.
then it was taken by the Stonecrop Trust to become a semi-wild estate in the early 1800s. That's when they encountered the Fey folk, and that's when then romantic artists came there because Fey.
Okay, that's a lot better. I just wanted to make sure that because it felt kind of like
That
they
yeah.
bullshitted.
Then they decided fuck the rituals that they were doing. Let's just I guess use this for our own means. And it's essentially causing I guess poison to the land.
They're
Whenever
they're,
they do
they're
the
worm
rituals, people
tainted.
become ill.
They're worm
No,
tainted.
no.
Blah blah blah.
Well, so the masters. You have the Right Honorable Sir Keith.
the most British name you can imagine.
This is pretty goddamn boring though.
Like that's the downside of this. Like it's a classic style of thing, like the weird British college out in the moors that
Yeah, at
whatever
least
else.
it kind of makes
But
sense. It's just like this is a tiny art college. What the fuck, man?
I can think of a couple of things
There's
that
also the
could.
matter like okay, it's in northern England, so like just imagining Barry from the north like completely pissed doing darts. Like
I'm just
staggering around
imagining
doing darts.
North FC. I'm imagining North FC attending these lectures.
Everyone can hear me?
I can hear
Yeah,
you.
There's something weird happening with my sound. But all right, so we have the Right Honorable Sir Keith Eugen. He's barely left campus since the turn of the millennium, and every January he walks out in the middle of the forest, mixing paints, incorporating moss, earth, and other natural mineral materials. The rest of the masters come to pay him a tithe in
Portrait
blood.
of Dorian Gray, but lame.
yeah. It's like, look, we get it. we don't need to cover every detail of this. We've already kind of covered it. Oh,
So there
weird
there
thing,
is
weird
one
cult.
there is one that is making her pregnancy an art exhibit.
The problem is like
A multimedia narrative that that culminates in the child birth of a child that she is insisted was fathered by Stonecrop itself. Okay,
these are just
that's
lame.
vaguely interesting, but like,
Reverse Riemann from Elder Scrolls.
Oh, they also have a werewolf on the staff.
yeah, they also have a werewolf or somebody that turns into a wolf. Doesn't necessarily need to be a werewolf.
All right, then let's move on to
This
the next.
sucks. This sucks ass.
So the next one is
It's
the
a
Cardinal.
vampire
Yep.
fraternity.
Oh
Well, no,
boy.
it's a vampire fraternity that is using academics to deliberately destroy or records of vampire existence and to also keep resources or
So
knowledge.
this is a bit of a nod to the blood to the Skull and Crossbones college fraternity.
Skull and
The blood
Bones, yeah,
presence, yeah.
and that sort of like, yeah, which
Which fair.
again,
That's fair.
fair. That's fair. It's an interesting bit. They even have a cardinal of the Sabbat involved, which I think is kind of fun.
Well, it's somebody called Cardinal Quill. Nobody knows his exact existence.
I would say he's
Um,
probably a cardinal in the
Awesome.
Sabbat.
That'd be fun.
But yeah, it's a cult with like different structures, and the higher you up, I guess, the more privileges.
The more actual truth, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like classic, basically.
I like one of the members, Dr. Melissa Brent. As a queer black woman in academia, Melissa Brett has seen the worst the Boys Club has to offer. 2 decades of professors sleeping with students, schools covering up academic scandals, and kids with connections skating through class, while talented first-generation students struggle to balance academic work with paying their rent.
By the way, this
She
means
joined
that just like Harvey Weinstein's assistant, she let it happen. Just got to
She
point
joined the
that out.
Cardinal Quill Fellowship as a chance to laugh in the faces of her supposed equals. She told a story about how Cardinal Quill is the secret lesbian lover of Pope Joan.
These are the people that actually never get employed, by the way, and they have to constantly go into marketing or HR to ruin other companies. But 1 second, I'm going to need something stronger than what the fuck I was drinking if we're doing this.
Look,
I mean, lesbian Pope is something that I would have never thought an
that's a
academic would
joke.
say. That has to be.
That she's joking. That
Then
the
again,
whole
she also came across a heretical Catholic sect that believed Christ descended not from God but from Cain, which how the
Okay, I'm
fuck does
ready.
that make sense?
I'm
okay.
fucking ready.
So when we're talking about with that is that whole bit is a joke. That is when you read it more in context, she's talking about the it's no more fake than the academic dream she'd bought into and then grown disillusioned with. Basically, she's calling all the bullshit, including that story,
Don't give a shit.
which
Don't give a
is
shit.
phrased terribly. It's
Don't give
badly
a
written.
shit.
Yeah. Well, no. The other thing is finding a cult that claimed Christ descended not from God but from Cain.
Hooray! We're bringing back the Cainite heresy stuff from fucking Dark Ages.
I was out the moment they used the
Yay!
attention-seeking version of bisexual/gay.
Yeah.
Who cares? All
So
right.
yeah, and then they show Cardinal Quill.
Yeah, Cardinal Quill's fine. Like
a bunch of other people. Then I guess we go to the 7th chapter, the Gourmand Society. They eat mummies to live
they eat
forever,
mummies.
which apparently that actually happened during the Victorian
Yes,
era.
There's a lot
it
of it.
was a thing that
Basically,
happened. Yeah.
it was seen as a way to cure a variety of issues, including cancer.
You're eating people's bodies.
Yeah,
How is
well,
that? It's
it's medical.
cannibalism.
It's jerky.
It's
It's
medical
fine.
cannibalism.
It's medicinal cannibalism, unless they're dead. Also,
Also,
some of
they're
them probably
sorcerers.
thought ancient Egyptians weren't humans anyway.
Yeah.
Maybe they thought they
They
were eating the flesh of aliens. I don't know.
but anyway, in any case, the society is kind of like a weird one. Like
This is just a
they
hunter
this
compact. This literally is a hunter compact from Vigil, but like described shittily.
yeah,
Because
and
there
this is
is
the
an
only one where
actual
they
no
give
no because there is a hunter group that literally does this shit.
Yes, the anthrophagy. Yes, I know. The Grimond Society is kind of like
They didn't even come up with
trying to
this.
get.
They just stole it and just
They're like
filed the name
immortal.
off.
This is the thing. They're trying to live forever by eating mummies, which are different, I guess, now in Old World again.
I think it's just it's not real. It's not mummies. It's
Just
like
mummies. It
actual
doesn't matter.
like people who are, you know,
I feel
I
like
guess
they only had
in
one good
tune.
idea, and then they needed to make up a bunch of other ones.
Yeah, it's like
I do like the members of the inner circle. Evan Carlton, he he looks like Indiana Jones.
Of
It's on
course he
page
does.
he looks like
158.
a yeah. It's
Oh, the thing is,
Well, also Richard
despite
Parker
years,
looks exactly like his father, by the way. That's Sean Connery without hair.
oh, that's a fat Sean Connery.
mm-hmm.
But despite years of living among other cultures, he still refuses to learn anything but English.
Sounds about right.
I hate this.
Um,
This sucks.
Lady Jane Huxtable, Dr. Nemia Dune. Yeah, this is fairly boring. But then we go, so after all those academic locations, we go to chapter 8,
By the way, in
academic
terms of
locations.
academic no, the best part is out of all the academic locations, the only one that they put any serious effort in, besides Stone Toss Academy, I don't know what it's called. I'm calling it Stone Toss, fuck it. I don't even remember the name of it. So Stone Toss Academy and Burlington Coat Factory, those are the only two. Oh, and I guess Evil Vampire Nun Cabal, which at least could have been more interesting if they weren't so angry at the Philippines existing as it is. Yeah, they only had 3 good ideas for colleges that they should have probably spent more time developing rather than all of the horse shit that we just fucking read. Like the historical editing society, they could have slammed that into the Pleiades, They could have
Yeah.
slammed that into Bellium, just make it one bigger and better piece of work.
Or you know what? Have them set up being like an academic conference or something,
Like the mummy eating
promoting.
society, have them
Well,
be like going out to eat bog mummies because that's a thing that you can
no,
find in old peat bogs.
have them have them promote these, theories, and that they're
Yeah,
using the vampires to to make their theory more popular, to make it so that people who are doing research get grant money if they're investigating that theory or using that theory. Play into the academic politics. Instead, it's just vampire cult,
See,
which would be great in
unlike the
vampire, not
Black
hunter.
Furies, unlike the Black Furies, which you can have mommy wolf nuns, they didn't do that. They were too busy screaming at the dictator's son being a populist.
well,
So
the other thing here with like these micro setting, like this chapter is like, oh, we needed to make it more about universities, but we didn't want to do anything interesting with this. So here's a bunch of really basic colleges that should have probably been the
More like
thing that we
like
focused on more.
more like 3
like
colleges, and then like the
they give a law yeah, they give a
A
law
law school,
school,
a teaching
a
hospital, which is important,
media
a media
endowment.
endowment, so more like
Oh no,
a
I need
building
to
on campus.
I need to talk about the media endowment because it's Pori. It's not the fair folk. It's changelings.
okay.
So apparently, changelings that are free to escape from the grasp of the fair folk come here because of the cold iron.
Oh look, they're
Um,
stealing Changeling the Lost, and they're gonna
this
fold it in. I
they're
think.
this is fucking changeling the lost.
Yeah, they're getting rid of Dreaming. They're gonna probably just port Lost over to here.
Oh God.
You can just
Uh,
see that this is Paradox being
All
bitter
right,
that
what's
Chronicles
the
did better in
what's
some ways.
who's the who's in charge and how much is a mail bomb to Sweden?
No. You have to give them a greater punishment. Send them to Luzon City, Philippines.
I'll send them tickets to Detroit.
no, not Detroit. But next up is the International Institute of Technology.
This is supposed to be MIT, but they were too unintelligent to come up with a better joke.
and the Johar Institute of Film and Television.
All of these are actually, if I recall, like parodies on actual ones. Like Green Lake, I think is supposed to be
Eh,
like Evergreen or something.
Well, no,
Yeah,
because they don't have mobs of students.
I
they do. I will say this: they at least, if the book was like just this little bit and that first chapter, and then the Burlington Institute, I would be a lot less mad at it.
I would say if it was the first chapter, they included Burlington, and then what they did is they then punched up the Filipino school, changed it from that you took the Skull and Crossbones Society, you took the Filipino school, and then you made it into one of the Ivy League schools in like the U.S. or something, or like a pastiche of them. I think that would have been a better pick.
Yeah.
Like if you
Well,
punched, because the thing is, if you punched up the historical revisioning society and made it part of the vampire school thing, I think that would have been a far better hook, because that actually was like an adventure that you could do.
well,
And then what you
I
could do is like give examples of other institutions.
yeah, like really build into the university and the politics. Like I keep mentioning
That's
the
the other
politics
thing. You
because
could just, if you just focused really hard on Burlington and you like had a couple of hooks that you can do, like this guy is actually the ghoul of a small order of vampires trying to edit history. Like he is a major dean of history at the institution, and if he's able to, he will get rid of even further evidence of vampire wars going on in California or something.
well, no, I was thinking this. You use the students, if you mobilize them to a cause and get them like some sort of
That
political
too.
issue,
You could have
and
them
you
be
use them as a
supporting the.
cover.
Yeah, you could have the vampire, for example, like he ghouls the governor. Like when they mention the governor in the peripheral man, make him a patsy of a vampire who's trying to get into higher office through him, and he's trying to mobilize the students. So you have that plot, which includes the historical revisioning aspect.
Yeah.
Keep
I do
the
like
keep
this
the
one.
peripheral man. Stone
I
Toss
do like this.
University, you throw that in for like their weird art history guy being like a big fan of like old rituals and shit.
Oh, Dark Sun. I can see.
No, Skull and
I guarantee
Crossbones
you.
was an old college fraternity. I
Yeah,
believe the last out of the last 5 presidents we had, 3 of them were part of it.
it was Skull and Bones, but
Skull and Bones, but still.
I definitely can see him getting angry at the fact that they're fucking over Changeling the Dreaming.
Oh yeah, it's detestable. Most of my group, whenever I mention the World of Darkness, they tend to actually prefer Dreaming rather than Lost. I think it's because the tone is a bit different. Because if they wanted to play something like Lost, they would just play Call of Cthulhu.
Hmm. So I do like this institute though. It's page 171, the Rhine Institute of Natural Sciences, because it's it's ran by werewolves.
I'm
Werewolves
okay with
believe that the
that.
campus is their territory and the human researchers are their wards, which means that whenever there's a corporation that wants to fund a research program, the corporation encounters other problems.
Oh,
And
that's
the
cute.
university, yeah, the university is then saying, well, you need to make something that's actually of commercial benefit. But obviously, then the monsters, werewolves, are fighting back against it. So you've got, you know, but you also have perhaps these researchers maybe trying to do something to help the werewolves, and the werewolves getting angry at them for not doing it fast enough. So you basically have these
I'm aware. Like,
researchers stuck in between, you know,
I just wanted to say,
corporations.
I just
Werewolves.
wanted to say that what they could have done is, because I actually like their invented, like all of these ones more. I don't really care
Yeah,
for the Institute of Film and Television, but like, if you built up these to like 3 pages, like you explained a little bit more about the place, maybe gave a few hooks, like a few potential people that you could throw in. If you did like short 5-page things on each of them instead of the garbage we got, this would have been a good book.
Well, Then we have last one of the examples, the Twin Rook School of Library Sciences, which
It's Twin Peaks. That's a funny
Eh,
one.
that's thrilling, you know.
I'm
Library
It's
so
science.
library
excited.
sciences. Unironically, I'm like, okay, this is going to be either really good or really bad.
But then next is the on-campus locations, which
The on-campus
through them,
locations are awful.
it screams that this is coming from somebody who is basing this off of their liberal arts college.
They
And I
are.
could say that as somebody
This is
that
when
went
they
to a liberal
peaked.
arts college.
Yeah, they are. This is when they peaked. This is them just happily regaling when they were in the cube getting the Beans Cafe.
There is a pixel
They actually,
library.
oh my god, they actually have the vampire coffee barista. Oh my god. I made that joke and it
She's not
came.
actually a
It
vampire.
appeared. It appeared.
She's not actually a vampire, but
I
it's still
don't
pretty funny.
care. This is it. This is it.
Um,
Put on your shoes and wigs, boys. It's time to go clowning.
Food
but
truck park.
yeah, but
A cat cafe.
By the way,
they have
Oh
a
food
pixel
god.
trucks
library.
food trucks are actually higher quality than actually most restaurants because of the way the laws are supposed to work for them. It's a
Yeah.
really funny thing, but basically food trucks are held to a higher standard than restaurants.
Yeah, some of this stuff is kind of just like,
The
I guess you could include it,
I
but
like
I don't see the reason why.
I
Oh, this
like
is
the
so
pixel
bad.
library because it's a board game, tabletop role-playing game, video games, and community copies of recently uh,
They have an arcade.
crowdfunded indie
They
prize
still
titles.
think arcades are relevant. Oh, that's cute.
But all I can say is, I guess this is where Coyote and Crow went to the pixel library.
Yeah,
Oh my
they can keep it.
god.
What was the other ones?
I
The
do like the Museum
Universal.
of Natural History, though.
No,
That
no,
one's actually kind of an interesting.
that's cool, but you know what I also really like? The No Auditorium, which literally plays around with Japanese styles of performance like Kyogen and fucking all sorts of other ones. That's pretty cool.
Oh,
Yeah, like I don't see why that would be on. I don't know why that would be on an American college campus, but okay.
Maybe
there's
Like
a
no, I
oh,
can
wait.
see it. I can see it on some California campuses.
that is true, but also like that there's a yokai there or whatever else,
That's
which it could be
silly, but
fun.
you could.
It could be fun.
There is a bookstore that is paying per kilo, as Miss
Yeah.
Pam is quick to remind anyone of the superiority of the metric system. Um, there's the Rang Bazaar, which translates the Rainbow Market. It was created by the institution's Queer Youth Network
Oh god.
to
Oh no, no,
look
no.
for
You think
handmade
that's
jewelry.
bad? Lamington Road, named after some now forgotten British colonizer, actively jump out of a window, please, in Minecraft, please.
But
Holy
wait,
shit.
hold on, what if I set this in Brazil?
Oh, I hate this so much.
What am I supposed to call it? I can't
Look,
call it
all I'm saying is that I will forgive it for
Ah!
the Lynn Barfog swimming pool. A wealthy donor named it in homage to his a Welsh home. The name recalls the home of the monstrous Afnak, which apparently has also moved to this pool and is drowning people, which is kind of great.
Oh,
Oh,
by
and
the
then there
way, no,
is
no, there's another one. The bazaar that you're mentioning, this is
yeah.
funny to me because bazaars traditionally, they're traditionally parts of souks or markets of North African. You know what they do over there, right?
Well, in a few,
You know what they
in at
do?
least unofficially in one country, semi just out and out in another one. Guess which ones? It's Mali and Libya.
Mm.
But it's ran by Julie Barker, a young woman with immaculate makeup, dressed in a purple hijab with a pride flag pinned on her top. Again, screams liberal arts to me.
It
Yep,
screams not
that's
realizing you'd be thrown off of a building until you're dead. Energy.
Um, but then after that, there is the anti-zealot activism department.
Which by the way,
It's
Azad.
Antifa.
No, it's
It's
even funnier.
Antifa.
No, it's even funnier because Azad, that's actually part of the All Indian National Liberation Army, the Azad Hind. Like, that's what I think of when I think of Azad. Which, by the way, was funded by both Japan and Nazi Germany during World War II.
Um,
Mm.
yep.
It says,
Mm-mm.
for instance, when the
This is
administration refused to
trash.
acknowledge any family outside of a cis-hetero structure for family housing on campus, AZ raised a stink. When the campus gets dangerous or the administration seeks to shut down conversations on a sensitive topic, AZ is are there to make sure the student body can't be silenced.
Meanwhile, they can't throw a punch and are intimidated by one dude in a hat.
The other thing I like, they gave the example for the gym. They don't name it anything. It's not associated with, like a nickname or a wealthy donor. It's just called gym.
Also noted for steroid users and maybe werewolves.
Uh,
Also, another one, the mall. That's a comedy.
just a dying mall.
Yeah, dying well. I do like the
Oh, some have never returned. This should have been your adventure. Fuck. Oh my god. Okay, so Burlington. Okay, make it Burlington, Vermont, right? Make it Burlington by night. Like sneak in. It's Burlington by night. Have the mall. That could be one of your scenario outcomes where one of your college friends went there on a dare and hasn't returned. What the fuck happened? That's a hook. You could have made an. Oh my god, I'm getting angrier at this book the more I fucking read.
Yeah,
as I said, there's some stuff in here that you can salvage.
It literally, it is only the front chapter. That's it. The front chapter and Burlington. Those are the only two that are worth salvaging.
oh god, a quiet space. Students are found curled up in comfortable couches, ottomans, and chairs. Their attention on phones, laptops, even hard copy books, wrapper-free snacks, and a drinking water fountain ensures visitors have a crinkle-free experience. It's said that if you listen to the silence long enough, you'll hear a prophecy of doom.
I kind of low key. I low key love the. If it wasn't
Just
for the fact,
how
it just gets worse each time.
Look,
this
I will
is.
say that the all welcome worship space is one of the like peak
Oh,
ideas, though.
Well,
well,
no,
I
that
no,
is
no,
actually
no, no,
like
no.
this
Because
one.
here's the
that is
pussy out
that's
moment. No, there's the pussy out moment. The International Exchange Unit. Technically a small unit within a larger administration tasked with looking after the well-being of international students. It's run by a sorcerer who will, for a price, provide sanctuary and an escape plan for monsters with heat. So if you do vampire
That's
school thing, you basically, this is your video game equivalent of I pardon you to lower your threat on GTA. That's literally what that's literally what they're doing, and that fucking
also
sucks.
I find this weird. What was it? Um, with the all worship space. So certain donors wanted a place on campus, so they decided.
like they
So
wanted a chapel or whatever
yeah,
else. So
but
the
but
dean wasn't happy about this because it's like we haven't had a chapel on campus for 20 years. We're not a religious institution. So they designated a fucking concrete building as like a our religion's place of worship,
the
which
thing
I
is
think
though,
is funny.
yeah,
And I think it works really well because of the next notion where it's like because technically speaking it's holy to all places, it might do something wonky to monsters.
So here's
it,
a
there's
student
these little
union.
bits.
No, here's a student union where they're actually very active and effective at prosecuting their rights because they accidentally have hosted it on where a wraith that was a lawyer in life is constantly muttering about cases that they dealt with. They can kind of
Yeah,
listen
which
in
is
on them.
kind of great.
That one's not too terrible.
This is another one. The Cena Counseling Center, which was named after a parapsychologist.
Yeah, a
To this day,
kook.
staff are trained to recognize symptoms of psychic struggle
Yep, it's a kook thing, but
and
it also gives you
and
psychological
report
aid.
such phenomenon to an obscure governmental department.
It's the fucking X-Files department. All right, here we go.
Okay, those are two sections out of a lot that sucked. We're getting somewhere.
Like this, and the thing is though, that's it.
Oh,
That's it. Well, there's
oh.
Well,
also a sanitarium,
yeah,
but
Also,
performed a street.
if you've noticed, they're trying desperately to world hop with the names. Which, hey, okay, fine. Universities
fine.
are very much like
You,
that, but still, it kind of comes off as ham-handed when you do it this way.
Because you know that this is a
This is a
liberal
we
arts
need
school from America.
No, we need this
Yeah.
because the loan that we got, we need to include X amount. Like, this is the cynical, pathetic take. And it ends, and it's pretty fucking terrible.
The thing is
If this was
it
just the last chapter and the first chapter, it
Yeah,
would be passable.
yeah, like, let me show you. Let me show you through the include the introduction, include orientation, and then include academic locations, and I would say keep Burlington College. Because out
That's
of
a
the
grand total
institutes,
about.
no, because out of the institutes, that's the one that I think has the best hook. It is the best described one. I get the feeling that they wanted to basically expand on this, but they ran out of ideas, so they shat out the other terrible ones.
that's about
It's like they
70
ran out of page
pages.
space almost. Like that would be. Let's see. From the start to Burlington is about what?
It says Burlington
30
ends at
pages.
Keene starts on page 62, so you'd get 60 pages from the first two chapters. And if you
Plus, when
actually
they're
cut,
about 20.
well, no, if you cut out the other two, that gives you another 10 pages to potentially brush up and improve Burlington. So you could have gotten a 90-page book out of this.
You could have easily gotten to 120 actually.
Yeah, because if
When you
you could
consider,
expand some more interesting places you can find at the college,
and then also maybe a few extra like samples, other like
and
less
include
detailed
sample
sample schools.
colleges, or alternatively, you would expand the staff. You could expand the
expand the
staff
Yeah,
by
staff.
adding another adventure hook, because the other adventure hook that I liked is the Cardinal Quill Fellowship, despite the strong
yeah,
liberal
you
arts
could
energy.
easily,
So
yeah,
I would
you
say
could easily
you
include
can
that.
keep Burlington College, but then have that little mystery and intrigue around it, and then have separate stories of like this is if you want to do ghosts, this is if you want to do
yeah,
vampires.
like basically what I would do is you keep Burlington College as the main setting. Your first big adventure would be with the Peripheral Man, and then from there, the ones that I hate the least would be the Gourmand Society, which has at least some possible value here, and the Cardinal Quill Fellowship, and then Stone Toss Fine Arts, because I'm just gonna keep calling it that because I'm not gonna remember that name. Like, I know it's named after a webcomic. I don't know why they named this, prestigious North
the
English.
Stone Toss, the Stone Toss Fine Arts Academy, where you must always include an Among Us.
The Stone Hearts Academy of Shitpost and Trolling.
The Stone Arts Academy of I'm racist, but I'm pretending desperately not to be. Please don't
Yeah,
cancel me.
yeah.
Yeah, he's a piece of shit. But the
Straight up, this is, as I described, this is about, I'll be kind, I'll say that it's more than I thought. I originally thought it was going to only be 40 pages spread over 180 pages of good content. It's more like
1
70.
third of this book is worth it. 1 third of this book is worth
I wouldn't say
a third
worth
of the
it,
money.
but it's functional, it's serviceable, it's fine. I
It
wouldn't
reminds
call
me
this
of
book
one of
worth it.
the no, the book as a whole is not. That section, like again, if you pulled that section out and fluffed it up a little bit, cut down the word count by about 40 pages, and used the rest of it just to focus on more of like one example of location, you'd have something interesting and good and useful. But you don't. And
I
I
think
mean, one
the
of the things is literally just we took a tech startup company idea we had, and we weren't sure if we'd be able to get a book that could get published on it, so we published it in this one, which does not speak well for this line's future
it's not
No,
good.
at all.
and I think it's because they made it too generic. Like I look to every single additional book they come out with werewolf, with vampire, with hunter. With werewolf, it's just been this. It was this location in you know middle America.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. So, okay,
Yeah,
so the
there.
problem that
Well,
they're dealing with is they're trying to turn World of Darkness in the Chronicles by trying to turn it culturally agnostic and basically trying to cut all as much as they can out. The
But
problem
the
is
thing is,
the way they're doing it is wrong, because even in the Chronicles settings, yes, they make the monsters and so on that way, but then the locations are based on real locations.
like maybe the best book that's been made so far would be the Chicago by Night.
And that's only because
You're
they
right.
were cribbing from the original, which was so good.
Yeah.
But yeah, like there's some stuff you can salvage out of this. It's not worth your money. This
It
is
is
like a
not worth your
pickup in the
money.
bargain bin.
As Not Nito has said, it is the most 4 out of 10 book I have seen in a while.
Uh
I wouldn't.
that's a little harsh.
I'd rate
I
it.
wouldn't give it a 4. I give it a 5. Like this is a 5. This is a solid 5 out of 10. There was genuine effort put into this in various locations. The art did not make me want to claw my eyes out for the most part, which is an improvement on plenty of it. It still has the problem with Hunter with the coloring, and the cover is god awful, and they really missed a really good opportunity to use that one art they have just after, which was fantastic. The formatting is readable. Like I have to give them that. It's a readable format. You can't
The
always say that
formatting
with
is
certain products.
tolerable. I don't think that the typeface is my favorite, but it's functional.
Typeface works fine. It's
I'd probably say, given how dog water a lot of World of Darkness books have been, because we've covered quite a few dog water ones, Berlin by Night comes to fucking mind.
No, Berlin by Night is a fucking classic. All right, like I will bat for that book, even though I hate the end section of it. I think it's still a decent book. You get your value out of your money out of that one.
No, you don't. Mainly because there's only one section worth it. I would say that there is more to this book that you can use than Berlin by Night, because the only thing worth a shit is the Berlin map. That's the only thing worth a
I
shit in that book.
are you okay?
I
Are
would
you
rate it
fucking serious?
slightly. I would
You're
rate it
not.
slightly higher than Dirty Secrets of the Black Hand.
You're not including the vampire Goering?
You're not including any of the vampire stuff from Berlin by Night. Like those are some of the best profiles for vampires
Nope.
in.
Nope.
Oh my
Anyway.
god.
So I would rate this slightly higher than those, but that's like rating bottom of the barrel. I would also say that I would say, however, Berlin does have the benefit of being gonzo-y with how it was going with, which the decisions are stupid, but they're more understandable. This has a moment where it's like, oh yes, the secret cabal of vampires bankrolled World War II by supporting the Japanese Empire in committing war crimes against their own assets. Because
And it's
remember,
Oh
even
yeah,
the
that's
stupid.
right.
Japanese university
Yeah.
would have been responsible for torching their Filipino equivalent.
Yep. There's the. It seems like
Actually,
something
no,
that
no,
someone
no,
up
no. I
top
can't rate it higher
had
than
to
Berlin
mention.
by Night. Do you want to know why? Berlin by Night had less errors. It had less errors. It actually was proofread. This has so many fucking errors in it. It's not even funny. So no, it is mechanically worse. So no, no, no. This is probably the one of the worst books I've actually read from the World of Darkness line. It's not the worst, but it's up there.
It's not the worst. Like again, I say it's a solid 5 out of 10. They really could have done a lot
I
better.
realize this. They only have the editor under the brand management section, not for the
Oh
main book.
They didn't
no,
even edit
no,
it.
no, no,
They
no.
have copy editors.
Oh no.
Fuck. That's terrible. Like, oh god, that this
8
thing must have
writers,
been
8 authors.
And no
one for
editors.
each fucking chapter. Yeah,
Oh,
and
Oh my
oh
oh
god. Oh god.
this was we were making sections for a larger book, and then we had to splice something together to make a profit out of something.
No, no,
Fucking
here's what
Christ.
happened. They were really hoping that Hunter version 5 would like do gangbusters because Vigil did so well. They were
Vigil's
going,
Kickstarter did really well, yeah.
yeah, so what they were probably going for was, well, we know Vigil's really popular. We're going to do gangbusters on this new oh, everyone hates it because we accidentally made Antifa the game. Oops.
It's not even MP for the game, it's just, oh, this is Vigil, but
This is a shittier version of
not,
Vigil spliced with Hunter's Hunted,
yeah.
but it has the Reckoning thing that people fucking hated. Oh no,
They,
no
they
one
had to
wants
shoehorn
this.
in the,
wait, Dark
yeah,
Sun.
No one
basically.
wants
Does it
this.
Dark Sun is asking, does it get on the shelf?
Mm,
Oh no, the shelf was originally, if you're wondering, I lost the assets, so that's why I haven't updated it. But the idea was I was going to put more books on the title screen with our characters. I was supposed to put like more and more of them, but what happened was I actually lost the assets for it, so that's why
you
it's been
lost
like.
that file, so it's like,
Well,
oh
no, what
no.
happened was when I changed computers, it basically I could not actually activate it anymore.
it's still our wall of shame, which is.
It was supposed to be our wall of shame, but I've not been able to update it for a while.
At least we can edit the little picture that back there,
Actually, I might
which
be
is
able
always
to.
fun.
It's just it'd be a pain in the ass.
We need to turn it back to the one guy from ESPN with the help. Uh, that was pretty good. I also liked it when we had the Mr. Clean's Guide to War Crimes, but
Oh no! I have
for
it all
whenever we
on
do
there. I
Battletech.
have all the assets
Yeah,
on there.
I don't know if it be shelf worthy.
It's not. It's not quite as bad
it's not.
as Beast. It's not quite as bad as Changing Breeds.
It's
It's
just
worse
It's
than
boring.
nowhere
Berlin by
near as
Night.
bad as Cthulhu.
It's not. It's worse than Berlin by Night. It's worse than Dirty Secrets of the Black Hand. It's pretty bad, but it's not
But
the worst.
Okay,
the thing is this: World of Darkness. Its horrible books are horrible but fascinating.
Yes, that's the thing. Even though I hate Dirty Secrets of the Black Hand, it does introduce the True Tremere and like a bunch of weird shit,
no, the Shamazay, like the old clan Shamazay, it
which is
had a
also
lot.
good.
It unironically introduced your three favorite bloodlines aside from the True Bruja, because fuck the True Bruja.
Yeah,
Like
But like it has
like
Old Clan Shamazay, Nagaraja,
I
and True
always forget
Bruja in there.
Nagaraja came
Two
from
of the
that.
three of which, yeah, which is the first mention of Nagaraja, which is one of your favorite bloodlines, which is really fucking funny when you
like
hate that book so
yeah,
much.
like at least you know Sam Haight and his adventures in Mexico.
Is entertaining.
It's entertaining. The sign of a bad World of Darkness book, I would say, is one that's boring, considering this universe is about playing as vampires, werewolves, mages, and everything else.
Yep, and
It's a little like this
this
book is
book is
not.
dull
I thought I
once
would
you
be a
get
lot
past
madder.
the second chapter. Yeah, it gets dull after the second chapter. And there's a couple of points that get infuriating. The entire thing with the Philippines is pathetic. That is axe grinding
It
political
just
garbage
does.
at its worst.
It's not even that. It's that it doesn't work
And it doesn't
as
do
like its own
anything with the
internal
setting.
logic.
It doesn't do anything
Right.
with the
It
setting.
doesn't.
They didn't double check their own fucking lore when they were writing it. By the way, the best part is that was one writer. Because what happened was,
Yep.
what happened was they were thinking this is going to do Vigil gangbusters, and they were probably planning several books. And these writers probably didn't all have the same books, but they were likely part of different teams. Then Hunter 5 sold like dog shit, and they were
It would
forced to.
explain why the Keen Institute chapter is where it is, because why the fuck else would it be in this book? It isn't actually a college.
It would also
It's a
explain
fucking
the
venture
sorcerer
capital
like
startup.
Call of Cthulhu inspired one comes from too. I think because I feel like that would be. I feel like the Stone Toss College one might have been its own book too.
Like it felt
Because
more
it
like
plays with
a
like it feels like a love letter to Call of Cthulhu.
yeah.
So I think that might
Which
have been its own
again,
book.
we're not against homages here, but you've got to be good at doing your homage.
Which it wasn't, because it was a crappy liberal arts college in the northern Moors, which doesn't do anything with it.
Yeah.
If it was more like a Miskatonic, where it was like, hey, maybe if it was more like a mineral sciences, like they had a strong geology lab before it got defunded because of Maggie, that might have helped.
Yeah.
Like it was
Or
it
like
was one of those
something.
chemical mining. It was like one of those polytechnic
It's
institutes.
like an art institute got merged with a fucking weird polytechnic thing. Yeah, like that could work, but
Yeah, and like it used to be two colleges, but then the town lost the factory because of Maggie, and well, now they only got the one, and the only reason it's barely around is because I
this
mean,
basically they took on that, so it's like it's offering two kind of shit services instead of
so
just
like
one.
if you played with the fact that the North is decaying, North England is decaying, and you had that as like part of your thing along with the decaying that the sorcerers are causing, I think you could have had a pretty good storyline.
Yeah, well, they didn't, or
But
they
they
had that
didn't.
intentional. They had that originally, and then they lost all the page count for it.
Either that or they just
Which,
didn't think of it.
yeah, who knows? It's hard to tell with some of these books where it's like you can tell sometimes where a writer is going and where like the editor stepped in and said no, that's too far, or we ran out of page count. Ah, fuck.
Yeah, low
Um,
key.
So
Yeah, low key. I'd say this book is
look, it is not
decent.
graduating. It is going to have to
It will
repeat.
pass on. It will get a 2-year degree in 5 years, but it
Yeah.
will pass eventually.
I'm gonna give it a
It's
decent using the dice Scum rating. I know
yeah.
I
I
know
would say
I've
it's
been
decent.
pretty brutal on it, but again, I really liked Chapter 1 a lot because it gave
It,
you excellent
Chapter 1 is
examples.
very good.
Well, no, it gave you excellent example. Like it's something that I think players don't understand. Your skills that you have is as limited as you are creative, and they do an excellent job with that. Like I really love how they showed you can still be an excellent computer guy, even if you don't have a high ranking in computers, by just showing
You just
like
have
how
to
you can
be
use your other
wits
skills.
larceny or whatever else. Like yeah,
That I
and
like.
I would also say that like the other thing that this book does do decently well is giving those little hooks that work. I wouldn't say
yes.
that like
It's
the longer
mostly in
story ones are
Burlington.
good,
It's mostly
but
in
there are a
Burlington, and
couple
it's
of like
mostly in the
little
one-page college spreads that they did pretty good on.
yeah, those actually work pretty well. So again, decent. This is not a book I would seek out
It is not worth the price,
for your
but if you
collection.
feel like you want at least the section that we thought was pretty good, I did link it to where you can get it from Renegade Publishing.
Yeah, like if this goes on sale, like a real sharp sale,
It,
might be worth picking
if
up
you
if you're like
catch
a
it on
collector.
sale and you have a bunch of other books that you want, that's probably when I'd get it. Like if it was,
If it's in a bundle, yeah, like if this isn't a bundle as like a stretch thing that's like $2 extra, fucking go for it. Like, yeah,
yeah, like a lot of
you
it's
get your money's
trash,
worth.
but like we pointed out, about a third of it's still pretty good. Not
Yeah.
good, but like solid, like 6 out of 10, pretty good.
6.5 out of 10. Like I'll be
The
fair, it
first
might be a
chapter
little
is a
more
7 out
kind
of
of
10,
books,
and the
but
back half and the back chapter is about a 6, I
no,
think.
the first half's like a 9 out, like the first section's like a 9 out of 10. Like it is genuinely really, really good at sharing information and
I think it's a
reads
bit
more like a
superfluous
how-to
personally,
guide.
but the back half of it is why I'm rating it at a 7. Because the
Okay.
back half, like the first is kind of a no shit Sherlock if you've played Call of Cthulhu sort of thing.
Yeah, but how many people do you think that are getting into World of Darkness 5th edition have played Call of Cthulhu?
You have a point there, but my rebuttal to that is in Japan, Call of Cthulhu is one of the most popular fucking tabletop games out there. For some
Fair
reason,
enough,
Call of
but
Cthulhu did fucking gangbusters in Japan.
it's because
And
it's suited for one shots, which is very popular in Japan.
and I'll say, just like academics, we seem to be rambling on more and
Oh
more.
yeah, we've gone on way too long,
So
and
Not
the
really. We've
class
only
the
done this
class
for about
time has
2 hours,
already gone
actually.
over.
Oh no, we were only 2 hours and
Eh,
17. We're good. We can just wrap it up here, though.
yeah, but we should probably wrap it up because there's really not much more we can say about it.
So
oh,
all in all, not quite worth it. Next week,
Who knows?
should I show off more of the One Ring? Probably not. Probably not.
we will think of something.
Should I show off FASA's Star Trek books?
Oh, there's a blast in the past. People forget about that. One of the first things FASA did was get licensed for Star Trek material.
And it did dog water.
It did not do well. It's like we got the Traveler stuff and we're trying that, and oh, Star Trek is good. Oh God.
I think then that would be good.
FASA Star Trek would be pretty funny.
So
Another
next week we'll be going where nobody has gone before.
seriously, because no one bought the fucking books. Joking. People did. Just not enough to really make the sales worth it.
Didn't pay back the license.
That's the biggest problem. Basically, the license was too expensive for the units they were able to sell.
It's also because they were trying to also do a tabletop war game
Yeah, and they focused too hard on ship
for that.
combat, which is what no one wanted.
Yeah.
It's not that no one
But
wants it. It's just like you want to be Star Trek because you want to be on the away missions. Like you don't want to command your Enterprise class ship to fight some birds of prey all the damn time.
I think we can save that for next week.
Yep, next week we're gonna
Yeah.
take a look at Star Trek, the Star Trek. So have a good night, everyone, and watch out. Burlington Coat Factory and Wraithathu is coming after you. It's on the shelf.
Oh no.
Oh no.